Right. Had to be presentable. I'm not getting used to this stuff yet. I'm not getting used to this yet. Stuff like that. So we lose Josh.
He had to use restroom. He said I gotta run out. Who's saying that teacher that was just in there? What was his name? Or shop teacher?
Rusty Ribrick. Rib.
Okay. I've heard good things about him.
Yeah, good guy. Okay. Okay, we'll get this meeting going here. Review and consider motion to reconvene the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hard, do your best, be kind, be safe, go Jacks!
All right. Good to hear it. Consent agenda. I need a motion to approve the minutes October 14th, 2024, October 22nd, 2024, notice of meeting. Board Policy Committee, October 22nd, 2024, notice of meeting, special meeting. October 28th, 24, notice of special meeting. November 6th through the 8th, record of attendance. Just one meeting a month. Bills, financial report, employment, Kirsten Foster, Hebron Elementary School PE paraprofessional. Loretta Dorman, food service substitute. Kippy Silflo, substitute teacher paraprofessional. Amanda Berniccio, Hebron Elementary School special education paraprofessional 1. Winter coaching and volunteer update. Resignations, Tammy Hodall, St. Mary's Middle School, 7th grade girls basketball coach. John Shepard, St. Mary's teacher paraprofessional. Suzanne Soton, Hebron Elementary School PE paraprofessional.
Jody, can I interrupt for a second?
Yes.
Can I make a motion? And just say Suzanne Sultan's been with St. Mary's for a long time, so I just want to give an extra special acknowledgement to her dedication to particularly the students at Hebron Elementary.
Thank you. Would you give her a standing ovation? Okay, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in
I need to
favor?
recuse myself from voting on the.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with that, you can give a motion or should I say?
No, they'll just say recuse themselves.
Okay,
So,
okay.
So
so should we do a roll call?
Who brought the motion?
I did.
Beth. Who will second the motion?
It's gotta be you.
Okay, I was gonna say, it'll be me because I think you recused yourself, right?
So now you say you recuse yourselves.
I got to recuse myself from the resignations. Same.
Okay, so all in favor of saying aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Got that, Ms. Clerk?
Yes, sir.
Okay, open forum. Did anybody sign the sheet to speak to the board?
I know mine did that.
It's
too.
been doing that for
Did you,
a couple minutes.
did you refresh it? Go up there, click that, mine did that too.
Mr. Wilson is already on as a remote, so.
Okay, so Mr. Durlam, you have 3 minutes? 5?
Oh, where's our?
Yeah,
podium?
he can just stand in the middle.
stand in the middle of my back over these wonderful people. I'll just come over here.
Well, Pete, but you're supposed to be speaking to us, not
I am
them.
speaking. to you. How's that?
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. So my concern is, what I would like the board to consider is writing a letter to the Benoit County Benoit County Republican Central Committee opposing what they did as far as the general election. Let me give you a little background. The Thursday before Election Day, I went to my mailbox, picked up a card, saw their endorsements, and then on the back was a place where you could check no for the levy. They put down no for the levy. I called Teresa. She was not aware of it. She was aware of it. I made a few phone calls, found out who the chairman of the Benoit County Central Republican Committee is, phoned him, voiced my objections, told him I didn't think that he should be involved in school district finances and so forth. We went back and forth for a good 10 or 15 minutes, leaving it go with, he said, well, we can agree to disagree. And I know who this gentleman is. I like the guy. And I got off the phone and I said, well, I don't agree. So I wrote my own personal letter and sent it to them. And I would just like to have the board consider writing a letter to them stating what I pretty much just summarized, that they should not be involved in our finances. He went to the point of saying, I think you're getting too much money even before the levy. And I went back and forth with him on that and didn't make too much inroads. I said, if we don't have the levy, we're not going to be able to function very well at all. We talked about the school districts that do get their levy, that don't need a levy, like Meridian and so forth and so on. So that ended that. That's my premise on that. The other item I had was just a question that could be brought up under the concealed weapons carry, whether the weapon is going to be on the person. You can discuss this later on when they're in the building or at a meeting or whatever, during their time that they have this weapon on them in whatever venue they're at. And my last issue is a personal issue. And kids, you're not going to like this. Okay, you ready? I don't agree with the board calendar, being that the kids are off all next week. I am under the old school. I like to see the fannies in the seats so you can teach the fannies. Josh, it's kind of like making weight. You got to lose the pounds. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hurley. Okay, Mr. Ray Wilson, you're already on the agenda, so we'll just wait till we come down there. Well, I guess next, presentation. So yeah, I guess you're up now. So you didn't have to sign this one. You want
Okay,
to
I
send
am
that back
from
over there?
the Elks Lodge, 18. How are you? So, what we do every year is we have a hoop shoot, okay? These are our posters that go up. Children are eligible if they are 8 to 9, okay? And the caveat with this is 8 to 9 on April 1st or before. If they're not 8 or 9, or it goes 8 to 9, 10 to 11, 12 to 13. If their birthday is not there, then they can't compete in that section. They have to move to the older section, okay? So to give you a little background on the hoop shoot, it's been going on since 1946, when one of our grand exalted rulers decided to elect her, national director. That was the first time that girls were included. The reason he started this was kids were running up and down the court and they wouldn't want to let kids play, so he started to help them shoot free throw. Also in 1975, whoever wins the hoop shoot, there are 6 winners. All those kids go on to a national plaque. It's in the Basketball Hall of Fame in Massachusetts. The finals will be held in Chicago this year, as they always are. And the thing about it is, it's free, okay? When you win here, we send you to Lewiston, okay? That's on the line. So you're not paying for anything. Mom and dad are paying for the gas, but that's it. We pay for the hotel and kick in some money, so that's free. The reason I'm here today is we'd like to have this on January the 12th of 2025. And here are my requests and everything. Coach, Coach Brian helps out with this and his team comes out and they help out. He teaches kids how to hoop, how to shoot, gives them training on it. It's a great time for the kids. We actually have pamphlets that go out, and this is what you'll take with you. When your child wins, they get this pamphlet that actually goes with them and says, yes, you are a winner and you're going to Lewiston for free. If you win at Lewiston, then you go to state. Once you get past state, then you go to I forgot what I think we go to the national after that. So that's a pretty cool deal for the kids, and we like to keep everybody involved in it. We like to make sure that the kids participate. I have a request here for us to be able to use the middle school gym. Coach Brian takes care of it. He opens it up. We clean it up after we're done. We allow water in there. We allow a few snacks, but not a lot of stuff. We are not using the kitchen. We don't want kids running around there like crazy. They're well supervised. He brings somewhere between 8 and 12 of the high school kids with him, both the girls and the boys team. So they are well supervised. They're trained how to do this, and they're given a chance to win some money. This year's scholarship fund will amount to $1.5 million. Okay? So it's a big deal. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask you to sign this?
Absolutely.
Did you have some kids go last year to state?
We actually had one 2 years ago that went to
Oh,
state.
that's what it was.
Last year, we had one district win, okay? So if you have any questions, I've given 6 of the posters out. There's some additional information. The posters are these big things right here.
Is there a fee for the kids or is this free to them?
This is free.
Free to them.
This is free today. The date is here. The time we want to open the gym is at 12 p.m. to give the kids some time to go ahead and practice a little bit. My name is on the bottom with my phone number. If you got any questions, give me a call. I am the hoop shoot director for the Lodge 14. Okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, up next is Vicky Harder.
I wish I could just go off the cuff like they could, but I have to write everything down.
All right, understood. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Becky Harder, and I've had the joy of working as a kindergarten and second grade teacher at Cleburne Elementary School in the past. It was one of the most enjoyable schools I've had the pleasure of working at in my teaching career. I love the camaraderie with our teachers and the guidance and leadership I received from Dr. Arkush. And I especially loved working with the children and families of this great town. 2 years ago, a group of teachers, parents, and church members got together to begin a prayer group for our schools. We believe prayer is powerful and that God desires the best for our school district in this area. We are now at a new place in this group where we believe the next step in this process is to move physically into the schools by praying a prayer of blessing, provision, and petitions over our children, families, teachers, administration, paras, food servers, maintenance, custodians, all working parts of the school district at each board meeting. We desire to invite God into this space to receive his favor, his help, support, blessing, and wisdom. Our request would be to say a prayer of blessing at each board meeting starting in January 2025 and continuing it throughout the whole year. I believe working in our schools is a calling. Teaching is one of the most challenging yet rewarding jobs there is, and it's getting increasingly difficult by the day. There are many challenges and burdens, so it's not surprising that teacher burnout is on the rise. With the questioning and unrealistic expectations and standards to meeting, so supporting our teachers in prayer is crucial in this time. As a support team, we are asking the Lord to help shore up and strengthen our families in the community, bless our teachers and administration with new, creative, and innovative strategies to help our children learn, and give us success in all of our endeavors. Those who were or currently are teachers and parents in our group are empathetic and understanding of the struggles. But we also believe there are incredible solutions that await us. We serve a big God with whom all things are possible. I personally have a friend who uses her 3 minutes every school board meeting in Sandpoint to share her blessing with their school board, and they have been blessed by it. And she also says a prayer at the city council meeting. Finally, we as a group desire to invite God into this space, not in a forceful manner, but as one who invites a solution to a problem. He is wise and kind and loves each and every one in this room and every child, parent, and worker at the school district. We know he has our best in mind if only we consult him and ask for his help. As I close, we ask that you would understand our heart is to bless you in a difficult decision you make and be a support for you. We are hoping there's a consensus amongst you as we consider this request. Please know that we are committed to praying for our schools every week. It is our practice and our honor. Our prayer is that he will guide and lead you, protect you, and bless you in all that you do. We pray that God will give you wisdom in all your decisions. Thank you for all you do and for your leadership of this school district.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
All right. With that said, Teresa and I will get back to you on that. Thank you. Moving on to B, Hebron Elementary School academic presentation. Mr. Dr. Akush.
Today we have with us some fourth graders. This year, fourth grade is departmentalized. We haven't done that before since I've been there. Fifth grade has been departmentalized into math, writing, and reading. We're doing this here in fourth grade. So we have for you today is Ms. Bailey, who is teaching writing, and she has brought some fourth graders to share with you thank you letters that they wrote to veterans. Oh, yeah. While she's working on that, writing is particularly important to me. My bachelor's degree is in writing, and I think communicating with public, whether through text message, writing, speaking, however, is really important for our students. Very, very important to share what these guys have written and what they've done, because they work really hard to get it great done.
My name is Mrs. Bailey. I teach writing to all fourth grade students at Hebron. The fourth grade students at Hebron are a vibrant group of young learners who are full of curiosity and enthusiasm. I feel very lucky to be their teacher. This year, they have engaged in various projects that not only enrich their understanding of the world around them, but also foster a sense of community and service. One significant project that they undertook was writing letters to veterans in honor of Veterans Day. Throughout this project, students learned about the importance of Veterans Day, the history behind it, and the sacrifices made by those who have served in the military. They explored various aspects of the military service, including roles and responsibility of veterans, the value and bravery, dedication, and patriotism. As part of their learning, students participated in discussions and activities that helped them understand the significance of honoring those who have defended our freedom. I'd like to welcome them up. Come on up, you guys. Thank you for right there. Not only do we have this great group of students, and so we're going to face the school board so that they can hear your voice. We had some other students that read their letters, and it'll just scroll through. With Mrs. Soden's help, we were able to go to the Veterans Day dinner on November 10th and give our bit of gratitude for those veterans at the Veterans Day dinner at the Elks Lodge. And there's just some pictures showing those students. And then we have these amazing scholars that want to read you their letters of gratitude. Let's start with Kevin Keneally.
Dear veterans, first of all, I'm so grateful for you giving us so much protection. You sacrificed time away from your families to protect our country. Additionally, Thank you for giving us our freedom. You gave us freedom by fighting for us. Because I have freedom, I can say whatever I want, whenever I want. Last but not least, I'm so grateful for you serving for us. I don't know what I would do without you. Thank you so much for serving. A special thanks to my dad, Sean, who is in the Army and is now on the Space Force. Sincerely, Kevin Steele.
All right.
Dear veterans, thank you for your service to our country. First, you helped protect our country. You You sacrificed your life for us. Next, you work for justice and peace. Last, you give us freedom, and I can grow up and be whatever I want to be. Thank you for your service. Sincerely, Julie.
All right. Good job.
Thank you for your service to our country. First of all, your protection and employment. You have protected our country. You have protected our citizens. Next, you have gave us the freedom to climb a mountain. Sometimes you have to sacrifice your life by going to other places. Last, I am thankful for your service to our country. I have the freedom and rights to continue. In conclusion, I am grateful for your service. Sincerely, Aaron.
All right. Good job.
Dear veterans, thank you for serving our country. To begin with, I'm grateful for your protection. For example, you sacrificed your time away from your family just to protect our country. Another thing I want to say is thank you for serving our country. You travel the world so the world can have peace. Last, thank you for giving us freedom. You let us go anywhere we want. You also fight for us. Thank you for protecting our country. Sincerely, Timmy Stokely. Dear veterans, thank you for serving our country. To begin with, I am grateful for your protection. You sacrificed time away from your family to protect our country. Next, thank you for serving our country. Thank you for taking special training to protect us. Thank you for going to other countries and fighting. Last, thank you for protection. Thank you for fighting for our rights. Thank you for letting me do what I want to do when I grow up. Now you see, veterans are very important. A special thanks to my Uncle Anthony. Sincerely, Reggie. Dear veteran, thank you for serving our country. To begin with, I am grateful for your protection. You sacrificed time away from your family to protect our country. You also protect our citizens. No matter what job you had in the military, you did it, and you did it all to protect us. Next, thank you for serving our country. You served our country by helping us and keeping us safe. You helped us by giving us happiness and letting us know that you're there. Lastly, thank you for freedom and peace. You gave us freedom by going to other places and maybe being stationed there. Thank you for risking your life in fighting for our rights. This is why I like you and everything about you. Sincerely, Conrad. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you guys
Great
very
job.
much. That was a good job.
Great job.
Thanks, kids, for writing them letters. I'm a veteran. I really appreciate it.
All right.
That makes everything work. That's awesome.
Moving on to monthly building reports. Hebron Elementary School, Miss Arkush. Dr. Arkush, sorry. Where is
Follow that. They
Pretty-
worked so hard.
pretty
It was
tough.
Awesome.
Good job. Good job.
Be proud of them. We are rocking and rolling at Hebron. The teachers and parents and support staff, everyone is just putting in their all, and so obviously are the students. We are Learning and Growing by Leaps and Bounds. Our theme this year is Stand Tall, Finish Strong. Scholars embrace grit and responsibility. So they are no longer our students, because students is kind of passive. Anybody can be a passive learner, but only people who embrace their learning are scholars. So our scholars have been working really hard, embracing their own learning this year. There's a lot of information in here about Goal 1, which is academic achievement, because that's kind of our big deal. I've got some reading, math, and fluency November scores for you. We're kind of moving along, taking a look at data, and our professional learning activities are up and running and really learning how to parse through the data and change instruction more quickly so we can address student needs. One of our big events for Goal 2 was our Veterans Assembly. I don't know if you know, we went viral with our Veterans Day Assembly.
Oh, yeah, very, very good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Somebody posted us on TikTok, and the song, they were singing God Bless the USA, and the songwriter put up a whole bunch of little American flags. So
All right.
it
Cool.
was viral.
All right.
Wow. It was I posted
awesome.
on Facebook. My post did not go viral. You can access it there. I enjoyed the moment. It was really pretty cool. One of the things that the teachers brought back from the professional learning communities, beyond the looking at data quickly, moving kids and parsing data to improve instruction, was to meet Goal 3, the safe, healthy, and inviting place. We really wanted to acknowledge more students. So instead of a student of the month per class, you're going to see a student of the week per class. And the way that's working is we've put together character traits. We have a cycle of them. I think we get through them 3 times through the course of the year. And on Fridays, we don't have PE, music, or library. We have enrichment. Our enrichment time has been spent learning about next week's trait, so the kids know what we're looking for. So this month, you'll see students for perseverance, cooperation, curiosity, and kindness. And so we're hoping that by recognizing traits more often and more students being recognized, they'll realize that we see who they are and we see the good that they're doing. And honestly, a lot of things we've done with Safe and Healthy Inviting Place, the Haber and Elementary Playground project has been huge. We spent, what would you say, 45, 50 minutes talking about tags. You know, that with some schedule changes and this focus on positive character traits, our discipline is starting to is decreasing because no, when your kid wants to go outside and cause trouble, they want to play. So that's been really good, as has the focus on traits, because we can go back and go, were you showing kindness? You know, are you curious about what the other student might be feeling here? So it's been really good.
Good.
To help with Goal 4, our PTO has been giving books out for students' birthdays. The Cat in the Hat goes around every month. That's been cool. We're still working with Cultivating Readers, which gives parents a lot of opportunities to have this monthly iPull call from Idaho Parents Unlimited to help parents be a part of student learning, understand some of the jargon around education, understand IRI reports, that kind of stuff. So we've been trying to get that out to parents as well, so we can continue to build partnerships. All sorts of really good stuff going on at Haber. I would like to introduce my administrative intern. She's hiding in the back over there. This is Courtney Green. She's also our regional math coach, but she's at Haber on Thursdays, helping principal and learning all about admin. So we're kind of paying it forward in the adult learning arena as well. So, any questions for Haber about Haber?
Just, I guess, the student of the month, I think that's pretty huge for a week, yeah.
Yeah.
So, good job. And I guess kind of keep us posted on how that's going. That's pretty good, I think. So.
There are a lot of kids at Haber, and all of them, every single one of them has something special about them. And this gives us a lot more opportunities to honor those kids for those special moments that we all see.
Yep, exactly.
Well, I like the emphasis on actually taking time to discuss what that character means and what it looks like. That's really great.
We've been differentiating, so K1 has a lesson, 2, 3, 4, 5, and kind of move it up, have lots of discussions and examples.
Awesome.
It's a work in progress. But
Yeah, well, that's, everything is, so just keep up the good work. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, moving on to special education, Mrs. Miller. How are you?
So Dr. Kush talked about this just briefly, we've been participating in the 14 minutes of the Cultivating Leaders / 2.0 grant, so we're excited to see that rolling up and just really excited about the progress that Hebron has made because of the grant and involving parents and kids and just getting information out in newsletters and just helping us to do a lot more than what we had to do. So it's been a growth time for us in that. Hopefully after tonight, we'll be fully staffed in the world of special education. We have just about 40 people on our site team. So it's really grown over the last 7 to 10 years. So we're excited to have all this support that we need. So that's
Good.
appreciated. Lots and lots of collaboration with special education teachers. As I always say, our SPED team is phenomenal. Our case managers at every building work their tail off every single day. So if you ever want to come by and take a look at what they're doing, I'd be happy to show you around so you can see. We did have a SPED team meeting this past month, specifically focusing on, I'll just kind of hit the highlights here. You can ask the questions about it later if you want to know more details, but specific learning disability training because of the changes that have been made to our new special ed manual. Indicator 11, which is our 60-day timeline compliance, which is training on that. Specially designed instruction, supplementary aids and services. Our GSFR process, which is the General Supervision File Review, which is done yearly. And it's just what the state does come in and make sure that our files are all in order and are good. So I spent a lot of time in high school reviewing all of their files to make sure that they're in order because it will be a high school file that's good this year. Concurrent services, IEP needs and written notices, changes to optional statement of service delivery, just no fun stuff you can tell. Progress report discussions, and then going over some new book guides having to do with behavior. So that was all in goal 1. As far as hit on goal 3, for safe, healthy, and inviting place. I've been working with the transportation department again this year, really making sure that we have clear communication between special education and transportation because we know that some students with behavior issues that just doesn't come to school transfers, so that's what we're going to be proactive in and supporting that in observations medication going on as well. And of course, training. And then hearing screening, which is hearing screening for kindergarten, first grade, and third grade in October. And we are close to years now. And now we're working on Hebron, so that's a little bit bigger project. So I have a paraprofessional, Brenda owns a company with that at Hebron, so that's how that's okay. And then goal 4, communication with parents and community. We are now involved with both Head Starts. We have 2 students in special education at Head Start here in town, and 1 at our program. So we're just continuing to spread out and service kids in our community.
Good. I would love to sit down with you or go through a tour. And I guess I'm kind of throwing it out there to any other board member. We can only have 2. Would love to team up and go sometime if your time warrants it. So.
I'd love to go, yeah. I'd love to go. Yeah.
Sometime.
Yeah,
So,
please.
okay. Just to learn more about it, we just see this side of it. It'd be interesting to kind of see the other side of it. So.
Unless somebody else wants to go, I'd be happy to go with you.
Anyway, we'll get in touch. I'll probably hit you on your busiest day. So. All right. Thanks, Ms. Miller. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, written monthly building reports. Go down through them. Or
Yeah, if you have any
got
questions
any
on them.
questions?
And also, I asked TJ Blackwell if he wouldn't mind us sharing a minute or 2 on the federal programming since we just completed the federal audit.
Okay, so anybody got any questions about the high school?
I researched that one earlier.
Good?
No.
Sorry, Mr. Asbury. What about the middle school?
Oh, Ms. Carson did a really good
Hearing,
job.
seeing none? Sorry, Ms. Carson.
Ms. Carson did a really good job.
Mr. Blackwell, you're up.
Helps having your report right here. Definitely helps to simply have your report to be able to review.
You can slide
Oh,
it
you
out.
can if you want.
Yes, you can.
If needed, I know the people watching from their recorded device might need to hear me.
Oh.
All right. So yes, first time doing an official federal review. We do a self-review each year with federal programs. received some extra training this year, like, what month was that? I think it's September, late September. Anyhow, they give you lots of different documents. But one has like this nice side notes of, what may be a finding if you don't provide it. Well, that document starts with 98 pages, and it's all fine print. There's a lot of stuff that you have to grab, evidences or documentation to submit to the state. We then reduced to basically the programs they're evaluating us on, which was Title 1A, Improved Basic Programs, Title 2A, Supporting Effective Instruction, 4A, Student Support and Academic Achievement, Enrichment, Title 9A, which is Homeless Children and Youth, and then Equitable Services. And so you just reduce till it's down to kind of what you need to provide evidence support, and it's still a lot of work. So with the help of Danette, who's been through the process many times, Teresa, pulling information from each building's principals, secretary, counselors, IT, we get all this documentation, we upload it to the state site. And that's pretty extensive. I had to lock myself into the district office just to finish that for 2-3 days as the deadline was approaching. Got it done, then you face round 2, and they talk to you about, say, hey, just missing this, or can you explain this? And so you then fulfill that, and then you have their meeting day with them, and never going through the process, of course, having some federal programs friends who kind of scare you about how difficult it is and all the stuff you have to provide. Our district received like amazing compliments from the state. They above and beyond letting us know we did a good job, and we provided lots of stuff. We were very thorough, and what a relief. And in 6 years, I hope I'm doing something else in the district. I don't have to go through that, but
I'm gonna jump in for a second because he's being really humble. He's our federal program director. It's 90 some pages of information he's bringing forth. There was 2 small findings just to fix going forward. And it speaks volumes to him as the director and everybody else at all the school sites. And Danette, who also offered a lot of information as business manager, to not only be compliant, but be able to demonstrate quality in the programs that we're offering students. So a big shout out to our director. While it's really tough, he's really good at it.
Good.
So,
Good job.
any questions on that? All right.
Appreciate you very much.
Thank you. Food service, you're all good on food service? Maintenance? Anything for Joe? His report's just a stamp, I think, anymore, isn't it?
Anything new, Joe?
The same old thing.
Been rising.
Okay,
Anything wild and crazy going on?
just changes with the seasons.
Yep.
All right, so transportation, anything about transportation? Hearing, seeing that,
Round and round.
yeah, okay. Before I do the superintendent's,
I'm sorry, on food service, I just wanted to acknowledge, I thought that was a missing 0. It's 3,000 breakfasts they've been serving this past month with the second breakfast
oh,
and income of it.
cool,
So, yeah.
Good.
Okay.
all right. I'm gonna
Great.
step off of the agenda for just 1 second because we've got a little bit of an award that I think is well deserved for our superintendent. For doing the very hard work that you've done for the supplemental levy being passed. A little appreciation of the wood in Idaho with the difference maker
Thank you.
on the bottom of it.
Oh, my God. When I'm salty.
Especially sheriff.
I know.
So read it out loud.
What's it say?
Difference maker, a dedicated person who can make a big impact even with just a small action or a few words. Someone who improves the lives of others, one who rallies or encourages others to propel themselves forward and brings about change. Thank you. Never underestimate the difference you made in the lives you touched. All right. Thank you. We're working on a thank you to all staff and patrons
Thank you.
for their support in the levy as well. So that should come out in the Gazette. Real fast.
Thanks.
We got happenings. I'm gonna jump to the last page. And I'm gonna go back to the principal department report real quick. And just acknowledging that time and energy that you're noticing that they're putting into that document, being really reflective and demonstrating how the work they're doing at the school sites is supporting one of the 4 goals, which is moving us in the direction of our ultimate vision for our kids. So I just want to really acknowledge the building principals and department people for the work on these reports. And if you wanted to ask a question or give an acknowledgement to the principal of the high school and the middle school, they're still here.
Just, I guess, thank you for the in-depth reports.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Something you like on
I think they're all good. Very
Even though you guys read them real fast, you go through them, we actually read them, really appreciate it, enjoy them. I liked Ms. Carson's updates on all wrestling, what's going on, all the excitement going on. I know there's a lot of formalities to it, but on top of that, it's just good to see what direction the schools are moving in. We don't get to see the grounds like you guys do, so all of you guys, we appreciate you so very much, very much. Yeah.
I think it's just worth standing and recognizing that, guys. Thank
Yeah,
you.
very much.
Grab my ear.
And I think along those lines too, it's worth acknowledging that you guys had a huge impact in, the work in supporting Dr. Wrench and getting that levy passed, but the positive interactions with the parents who are the majority of the voters out there is very reflective. It wasn't close. It was an overwhelming support for this school, and a positive reflection on your leadership in the building, the support of your staff, and their interactions with the parents who are the voters out there. So congratulations, recognition to you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So with that, thank you. With their leadership, right, this is our ultimate vision for our students. And their report speaks to the goals and some of the work they're doing and results they're getting, so that the day comes when every single one of our students, right, through our quality instruction and collaboration, walk across that stage with the skills and knowledge to be a successful and productive citizen. And with the supplemental levy and that leadership and support from everyone, we're able to continue providing that education and doing the necessary work to see the results for kiddos and ultimately reach that vision. So it's always nice to just touch on where we're headed, which is that vision and our 4 main goals here, and then where we're at. And so here's a little bit of data where we're currently sitting as we started the school year, and you'll get an update of mid-year results. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. You've seen these results before. All improvement from the prior year, which is important. We're moving in the right direction, and the hard work and leadership and support is getting us those results. And this is some of those action steps that you've heard us speak about. You hear the principals continue to talk about. We focus on some of these action steps at our last November 8th professional training day. Implementation of our professional learning teams, the different grade level and content areas. Our principals and myself were a professional learning team. And this board is a professional learning team. And using some research-proven instructional strategies, and through those 2 vehicles is continuing to see our students grow and achieve. Also, we're really focused on supporting for that effective implementation of a new math curriculum. And you'll hear throughout the school year, throughout the school year, that our principals will speak of something in addition to these main action steps that they might be focused on, very specific and unique to their school, like the cultivating readers at Hebron. And you'll hear a lot from Chris Asbury about the CTE work. And then goal 3 is our safe, right, and healthy school setting, and wanting that for our students. So 65% of our kids at the start of the year said they feel respected, they feel safe, they feel like they have a go-to adult. We want to see 100% of our kiddos be able to say that. So you hear our principals talk a lot about being really clear on the expectations and that constant communication, and then being consistent both on redirecting the behavior, but also being tough and consequence if it's an inappropriate behavior. You hear a lot from our principals, especially Dr. Arcus tonight, about recognizing the positive behavior and character traits. And you've heard a little bit about the multi-steps and some of the different steps that we're taking. Wanting to get all staff and all students equipped with, some people call it CTEL now, some people call it QPR, some people call it SOS, but in other words, recognizing signs of crisis or a difference in students' behavior and mannerism, and having all kids and all staff just got that training at the last November 8th. So just getting that is one big step for all of us, having those tools, recognize those behaviors. And I think what's unique and good about St. Mary's is we're small enough, and we've heard staff say that, we're small enough to be able to recognize and know every student, and students know each other. So to catch that at the first level. And then another step of crisis prevention is we have that crisis prevention team. And so getting that up and running again, a lot of our counselors and our psychologists and some of our behavior techs, getting that up and running again. And they've just gone through some real intense training, because when we get staff and kids to recognize, hey, there might be behavior, we might want to check in on that student. Guess where they're going to refer them? Notify family and refer them to a counselor who's got that extra training. So that's a couple steps on both sides, but also then something in the middle where we can work on with our advisory classes and our health classes, where they can have some conversations and scripted conversations with some of our kiddos to recognize signs and that the difference between telling and this is a safety issue, so let's say something. So, and having some of those tough conversations that are important about health and safety. So we are taking a lot of multiple and a variety of steps to be preventative, if you will, and support the physical and the mental safety of our kids.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot happening there. And you'll continue to hear that when our principals speak about goal 3. And then this is just a graphic we showed with our staff, just kind of how we all fit, right? You got the big district-wide goals. Schools have goals within those. The departments and classroom teachers then are working on their goals with instruction with the individual students. And then that all just supports back to the school and district and our ultimate vision for our students. The end.
Sweet. Good job.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. District, McKinstry, review St. Mary Joint School District number 41, the McKinstry construction contract. Wish you guys are up.
Our McKinstry team is back, and we got a little bit of a PowerPoint first that'll talk a little bit about our project outcomes and some of the changes in the program outcomes.
Good, how we doing? Good, man. Good to see you.
I'll introduce, for anybody who doesn't know us, my name's Elena, this is Luke and Jack. The 3 of us are the McKinstry team that either found the opportunity, developed the opportunity, and will eventually execute the opportunity of making sure that this school district benefits as much as possible from this Renew America Schools program. Luke and Jack did the early work, so I'll shut up and let them talk and join in when it's my turn.
No, I think it's been a fun ride. I think before, I think Teresa and team were here, and actually some of the board members, you guys are new, but this has kind of been going on since, it started off in January. Kind of jump into conclusions, but we have an agenda that we go through this, but I just wanted to say thanks. This has been a fun ride, and to Elaine's point, this is going to be something that's pretty once in a lifetime. Some folks realize, and some people don't realize, this is a lot of money. And so it's been fortunate to be part of it.
You're not leaving, are you?
No.
Okay, well, you just kind of said a fun ride, so I'm kind of like waiting for the shoe to drop.
I do think that the grants, how to apply for grants, I just was mentioning something to Joe, the transportation potential grant to consider here soon. But, this size of the grant is kind of unforeseen. You don't see this size of the grant very often. So that's been the ride of like, get into it more in slides to come, but it's pretty awesome. The percentages of getting it, you guys were, wow, to get that is pretty awesome. But you want to go through the agenda? And
yeah, so we'll go to the next slide. I think whoever can advance the slide.
That would be me.
Perfect.
There we go.
So we're already about a third of the way through this, so we can go to the next one. And so we're just here to again review the scope, the what we call the GMAX, guaranteed maximum price. I don't think anyone's going to be surprised by the price. It's what the grant dollars were for, and then just a high level schedule overview, which we've touched upon a couple of times, but just putting it to a little bit words. So Jack, go ahead. You're already saying. Are you going to read every single line?
I'm not going to read all of this. This is way too much. There's 2 slides here that are a lot of busy slides, but I'll just say that there's a submission. After the submission, there's kind of, I'll call it a Q&A or clarifications, where you guys wrote out like a concept paper, and that went through several iterations, and then you finally actually got the award. And then there's the actual where we come today was actually the design phase. All of this is all specifically around this asking for a grant for $15 million, which is pretty awesome. Of energy, part of schools. So this one was all about energy efficiency and how to actually create a safe environment and effective, learning environment, being able to. I list out all these as to what it's for, but at the end of the day, it's how to actually educate your kids with an effective learning environment using energy efficiency as the main poster child behind it. So I want to go ahead and move on to the next slide. But for this New America Schools, RAS, you'll actually see it. And you think about it in the past, RAS, if you just go to RAS online, you can find their website, and it goes through all of this that's shown right here. But these definitely is something that you'll see that you were 24 out of 1,000 applicants. The 1,000 applicants, though, I would say started off as 3,000 applicants. There was just over 1,500 that was disqualified right away because they didn't meet the actual requirements to it, and another 500 right after that. So only out of 1,000, you were 24 selected. So that's pretty awesome to repeat some of what we've talked about before, but I think that's important. With this, though, it is actually, we talked about safety. You guys talk about safety. This is a huge part of that. So I wanted to promote health and safety for students and teachers, better learning environment. And then it's all about the community, too, as well. So part of the actual DOE is working with the actual Department of Community and Planning Services to actually deliver this application for you guys. So today, I think to kind of back up a little bit, we want to actually, this is basically why we're talking and what the actual grant is, but we actually want to get into the actual nuts of why we're here, and that is the actual scope and costing of what we're doing and being able to make a decision. This right here, though, is kind of looking at the 24 and having it spread out and kind of showing the example of what you guys had won. I think Again, this is a pretty big, I would say, promotional ad for St. Mary's, Idaho. If you recall, when you guys first won this, there were several other schools pretty mad that you guys got this, and they're local too, so I'm not gonna rattle them off, but that's a pretty good sign. You want to?
Yeah, I'll go through the
rehash a
scope.
little? Yeah, go through the scope.
So Hayburn Elementary's got by far the most scope, and it's for what I like to call the old wing. I don't know actually what everybody calls it. The original school building. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So new windows and then the new front doors as well. I think that all of those wood windows. They're very, very old. We have got a solution approved by the state's historical society, yeah. So that was a big deal.
Not a boy. I was
You're
wondering.
gonna love it.
That was a
You're gonna
big
love
deal.
it. Huge
And,
upgrade.
I was very happy with that decision. And so next summer we're going to be able to completely retrofit all of the windows on floors 1 and 2. We are not going to touch the basement windows. Possibly in a future scope of work, down the line, and, maybe that library, we can jazz it up a little bit. But there's going to be a bunch of walls and things they could do down there. So we'll do the base of windows on a different project. Also going to be adding a new chiller, which will allow for chilled water distribution throughout the building. So you'll have cooling throughout all the spaces in the building. And then you already have a pellet boiler today. We are going to add another one, and the two will run in tandem to serve 100% of your heating needs. But then, hey, what if it gets cold? We're going to keep your fuel oil tank and the fuel oil lines and the fuel oil boiler. Going to give you a new fuel oil boiler that is sized for 100% of the load. And your current one is designed around steam. This one will be designed for heating hot water instead. So quite a bit of piping to be done throughout all the spaces as well. And then for the kitchen spaces, you're going to get all new mechanical equipment there, new air handling unit to kind of just serve the space load, new makeup air unit just to serve the ventilation load, because if you can imagine when they kick on those exhaust fans, that pulls a lot of air out. The makeup air unit is supposed to, and it will actually serve that ventilation load then, as well as you already have energy recovery ventilator for your new wing today, but we're going to do ERVs throughout the whole space, and then two new air handlers in the gym space, as well as new ductwork because it's a good idea. We'll just leave it at that.
We tend to get a little acronym friendly on the HVAC, the energy efficiency side. So ERV.
Oh, energy recovery ventilator, and I think they're really cool. I'm a mechanical engineer because
Can you tell?
Because instead of just taking perfectly good ventilated air from inside the building and just throwing it outside with an exhaust fan, it passes it by the outside air coming in. And so the inside air that has attributes that you like, whether it's hotter or it's cooler, depending on the season, will just pass that energy into the outside air coming in. And so you're saving on bills because now you don't have to heat it up or cool it down as much, because it's just passing it right. Just air streams are passing right by each other, and then that bad air with like CO2 and whatever is still going outside, and the good air is just picking up the energy, being recovered, and then ventilating the rest of the space. So
You're getting more of those.
We have a doctor on energy engineering and so on.
Oh, we are
April.
we are very excited to be one of the things we want to do in the community is also because we're gonna have a bunch of people who work in all sorts of different trades. I know you guys have lots of people who work in the community, work as electricians and riggers and all sorts of jobs, but just now we're going to be in the schools, and now an opportunity to kind of show folks and show the students, hey, here's some other cool things you can do. The engineers would love to come. I would love to come speak to about all the energy recovery things and pieces. So really excited about the biomass boilers. I know you already have one today, but at the middle school, then we're going to we're going to add a pellet silo, as well as the same biomass, the pellet boiler that you have at Hayburn will be at the middle school as well. the DOE was quite stoked about that because it's a renewable resource and they're all about that kind of stuff. We all are. And then they're also going to get a chiller at the middle school as well. The Hayburn Elementary and the middle school are going to be parallel system types, which is great for maintenance and operations for Joe and his team, and just kind of parts and pieces and things that you'll need. They're going to be very, very similar. It's just Hayburn costs a lot more because it's a lot bigger. And then
There's more to do.
but everything that I said about Hayburn holds true for the middle school as well. And then
You have the windows though in Hayburn that are going to be pretty damn nice.
That's going to be a big bite. Yeah.
That's a big bite.
That's a big bite, yes.
Are you gonna get them done during the summer?
Yes.
We are, yes.
That's good.
Huge.
Oh,
I
big
have
time.
pictures where I was like, I touched the glazing and it popped out. I'm like, oops.
By the way, something that's really cool. The Historical Society of Idaho told me that Hayburn is going to be in a book coming up pretty soon.
Awesome.
So we're gonna make sure that we get the windows totally done and everything out of the picture that they're gonna take, and well, it's gonna be great.
Make sure they got the good side, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So, and then at Upriver Elementary, just due to the size and a number of other factors, it makes more sense to keep what you have today. So there's no plant equipment. There's no boiler plant. There's no chiller plant. There is an air handling unit, which is fairly big for the large room on the inside. But you have a lot of the we call them unit ventilators, the through wall types today. We're going to take them out and put in a new one, a better one. And then the loud part of that unit vent, we're going to take that stuff out and put it in what we call a heat pump outside so that it's a little quieter in the classrooms.
A lot quieter.
And then 100% backup electrical heat, which is means we need to get a bigger service. So at Upriver, as well as it's a new electrical service because of the amount of electrical load that was being added. But it's going to be a much more robust system that has good legs on it to last for a long time. This system here that we're talking about at Upriver is again a parallel. It's not one for one, like for like, but it's a parallel system type to what McKinstry installed at the St. Mary's High School up the hill there a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. So those are the big parts. As you see mentioned on there, like exhaust fans and electric heaters and unit heaters. Like there's other bits and bobs in there as well. But when are we going to do it?
Haha. That's where I come in.
Next slide.
So I'll be the project manager, making sure that when we transition from what Luke's done as far as development goes, when we transition from that into final design and construction, we have a seamless process. And there's a lot of steps involved with that. That includes adding subcontractors to our hiring list, and that includes bringing them on site for site walks. And we move what we've done up to date through what we call a permitting and plan review process. So what's next? What's next is what we call final design. It's where we reach out to the people who have helped us thus far and say, let's get us to the point we're ready to order equipment. So that means they've got to finalize drawings, choose equipment. We have to do a submittal review. We have to explain to you what we think we need that will best suit this project. And then we pull the trigger on buying those things because some of them take a very long time to get here. That leads me into the construction windows. So we are building a construction timeline over 2 years that basically is modeled around going to get stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we can't do work. If I'm not going to get, let's say, a transformer for Upriver until summer of 2026, that doesn't mean I can't do anything today.
That's the longest lead equipment. Right
Yes,
there.
it is. Our electrical stuff tends to be the longest lead. And if any of you are in the contracting world, you know this. But so we will procure, and then we'll establish a construction timeline around that procurement window and do all of the support work while we wait for that equipment to get here. So that basically when it gets here, we set it up, plug it in, let it play. That's what we're aiming for. It will not go off without a hitch. Trust me, it never does. No matter how good you plan, it's going to get messy. But I think that we've done enough of this work that none of this scope is something that's so special and unique that I feel like McKinstry won't be completely optimizing their workforce and doing a good job here. On top of that, this is really what our wheelhouse is. Energy upgrades for facilities that have been in a deferred maintenance state for a number of years and trying to figure out a solution that gives you longevity, reduction in maintenance costs, and reduction in energy costs. That's our goal. And we hope to continue doing that for as long as possible. In addition to that, our business motto is also very community friendly. And there's things that we want to do because of this partnership, because of you trusting us to go after this grant and do this work for you guys. We recognize that sometimes schools and other places that are off the grid, so to speak, or further away from what's commonly known as less rural, you get kind of neglected and forgotten about in some respects. So there's a couple of things that we talked about, or I guess I kind of agreed to and then had to ask for permission for, but they said yes. So I talked to Teresa about this at Upriver Elementary. I hope the principal's still here. I told our VP that I was talking to TJ. In fact, the first time I met him, he should tell you how he was dressed. I was like, this guy's a nut. But I didn't react. I was very professional. And then he explained. And I was like, oh, that makes more sense. So he was dressed like he was working.
Singlets or something?
He was
Theme day.
yeah. So he was in full like safari gear. And I was like, oh.
Why don't Bluetooth pajama day? Never know when you're gonna have an impromptu meeting.
So you remember you complained about your planter boxes and you want some boulders, and maybe we could do something with that front area.
Yes.
We're gonna do that.
Yes, that's
So
awesome.
we're gonna do that. Little things like that. If we can find ways to wrap equipment and make it look cool, if we can find ways to increase your school spirit and bring something to the community that isn't just some really fancy HVAC equipment.
Correct.
You know, something that they can see that's a little bit more fun. I mean, no offense, Luke. But really, how many of you really get excited when it's time to go buy a heat pump? I mean, don't.
ERZ, everybody,
But
what
you
is
know what I
it?
mean. You want something that you can see and show the community that, yes, we're not just here hiding in basements and mechanical rooms. We want to make a difference that you see when you drive by the school. So we're going to do some of those enhancements as well, especially at Upriver, because a lot of their work isn't going to get done till that second summer. You guys are going to feel like McKinstry came and went and forgot about you, and we didn't. We're going to try to do a lot of that work next summer. So summer of 2025, summer of 2026. Let's dig into that just a little bit, and then I'll pass it back over to Luke. 2025, we're going to do the windows and a lot of the prep work at Hayburn Elementary, and doors if we can. Leaving the remainder of the scope having to do with electrical to the following summer of 2026. Make sense? Simply because that gear won't get here, but we can do the prep work. All of the scope for St. Mary's Middle School will be able to be done in summer of 2025 with some commissioning work maybe going into the fall. That's what we do. The remainder of the work, Upriver Elementary, because of the service upgrade, will happen in 2026 as well. Is there any questions about schedule?
We'd like to do it sooner, but the equipment lead time is what drives that. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
And you will see us come and go, like doing site walks and stuff, but we try really hard not to impact the classroom. In fact, we'll be back this Friday, but we're coming to have some discussion with Joe and waiting for school to get out, and then we'll bring our architect and window guys to the building. Makes
We
sense?
put Luke in a hat and put him on a mat lift up on top.
He will. He will love that.
Absolutely. He would jump at that.
He would love that. Yeah, so that's kind of our plan. If there's little things we need to get in here to do just to be ready for that work, we always touch base with Joe and make sure that it works with his schedule, and he's been phenomenal. So I want to give him a quick shout out. Him and his team, in my opinion, do a fantastic job in their school district, and that's been a lot.
Yes,
And it's amazing. Your kitchens are clean, things are clean, painted. I don't see ratty carpet torn up or things that are gonna trip kids up. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And these old buildings, that's a tough job, and he's doing a great job.
Small and mighty.
Thanks, Joe.
So I know it doesn't print very well, so I apologize. what I say called GMAX, which basically stands for Guaranteed Maximum Pricing. There's $14,880,002. We McKinstry and St. Mary's will split that most heavily towards us because we're the ones who are hiring the subs and getting the contractors to do the work. There's 22,000 that's allocated specifically for abatement. We've gone through the good faith surveys. We don't really think that there's going to be much of any issues with abatement. As far as schools go, your guys' schools are miles ahead of a lot of them. And when it comes to asbestos-containing materials, ACMs or lead, etc. But asbestos is if you contract with it, you own it for the life. And McKinstry Insurance doesn't want to take it on. And so anything to do with abatement, you still don't have to pay for it because it's being paid for by the grant funds for contractual on a line item. We don't really think that it's going to cost a full $22,000. We're very confident that that is sufficient funds for all the sites. But that's how we got to the $14,880,000, with most of it being the McKinstry total. You can see about $7.1 million is for Heyburn. The 1.17-ish is for the windows and front doors at Heyburn Elementary. And then the middle school is actually I cannot read it up there.
7.8.
The $4 million, and then the 1.8 is for the Upriver Elementary with all the different heat pumps and whatnot. So that's the guaranteed max pricing. Lo and behold, it comes out to the amount that is in the contractual line for the grant. And then I've added in there the DOE funds, and that is essentially just an equation that says that's 95% of the number. And then there's St. Mary's School District funds, which is 5%, because as the grant goes, 5% match is required. And then at the far right-hand side there's the your net customer cost. We know that the utility rebate will, because it's a rebate, you will still have to pay for it first, and then you'll get that money back later. We have an extremely high degree of confidence this utility rebates, because we are not in control of them, are not part of the guarantee.
Right.
But $60,000 for Upriver. Avista, despite working with them, says that we have to get further in design before they'll tell us what their rebate number is. So I know it's going to be above zero, but I don't want to. I have no idea what it's going to be. So that number at the far right is going to continue to go down based on rebates for the scope of work that I covered there. So at the end of the day, I'm open for any questions or discussion, but at the end of the day, what we're hoping to receive today is later in your guys' board meeting, a vote upon, signing the authority for Teresa and Jody. So, any questions or concerns, comments, etc.
Jack, Luke, this has been your baby. You guys done a really good job. Yeah,
Luke's
very
done
much.
a ton of work.
Yeah.
He is a master at this.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's excited too.
Yes, and he's very excited.
Working with
Yeah.
Luke, you've definitely
Yeah.
have your stuff together. So I
He's done a
appreciate that.
phenomenal job.
Communicating
Phenomenal.
with
You excited?
people, you've done really a great job.
Yes.
People who know nothing about mechanical engineering and all the numbers and all the process and everything. I've been here all the way since the high school
Yeah.
and really appreciated your ability to communicate
Yeah.
and make it all make sense.
This one too is whenever you have a number you have to go to, there's a whole bunch of options that Luke had to basically put together all the options, point out to you guys what those options are, but then actually say, I'm sorry, take out some of those options in order to meet that final number. And the art of finding options and getting the rough order costs for you to understand, that is a lot of work. So
It's a lot of work.
Really
Luke's done a lot of work. So kudos.
There's always a lot of different options. If you ask questions about things, always answer those questions very well. So we very much appreciate you.
It's definitely, we've been in the business too, where you've already set an actual solution you want, and you just put a number to it.
Yeah.
And then you throw it over the fence to the customer to pay for it. That is not this at all. It's
No.
very collaborative. It's very, you guys are part of the decision-making process. It's been a fun road for sure.
I think if I have to say the one thing that is frustrating in these types of jobs is we want to give you more and more and more and more for the money. And when we get limited in that, it's frustrating. I mean, I know Luke's come to me, he's like, okay, I cut your contingency by this much. Are you comfortable? I'm like, no, please, you can't do that to me. I have to be able to be successful. So we try to put as much scope into the money as possible. And I hope you realize that and understand that. We're doing that not selfishly at all. It's because we know you need it.
Yeah.
More than most.
And I
More
think,
than
you know,
most.
I think it's very well appreciated.
Yeah.
Collaboration, just like the last time we met, okay, here's our number, here's what we gotta do, here's
That's
the
right.
suggestion.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's very good on your guys' part, thank you. I don't know if you guys got any sleepless nights, but.
Lots. Lots. I've had dreams of trying to figure out how to shove scope into this stuff because Luke is just like, please find a way, you know, and
But he's been really creative.
He has been so
in our last
creative. It's
meeting,
been
your
amazing.
ability
Well,
to explain how you different aspects of how to do things and when to do them and what order to do them in
Yeah.
and how that saved money. You did that at 3 a.m. I can tell. Some of those came to
There's
you.
also-
That,
There's also, you guys talked about federal audit that you got, and this is a federal contract. So
Yes.
besides the actual scoping involved, the actual process and contracting with the feds on this DOE, I should say, that's a challenge in itself.
Very much.
We've come a long way, especially with the wording in those contracts.
That's right.
You got
That's right.
something, Mr. Cruz?
I just want to say on behalf of the children,
Mhm.
thank you. What you're describing is going to be world changing
It is.
at our building.
Oh.
So thank you.
It is.
Like,
Thank
I'm
you.
Listening to all of this, I just want you to know how important it is to be getting them. So thank you so much for your work.
You're welcome. And thank you guys for what you do. That's why we're here. I wouldn't want to be here, selling this to Microsoft. I want to be here selling it to you. You're welcome.
All right.
but it's
Well,
exciting to see also how this is going forward, just how much of an impact first to the environment, the learning environment of those rooms. I've taught in those rooms and it's awful. And that is going to make that's the most important. But on the financial end for, Danette's going to be so excited when she sees how this all changes going forward, how much money we're going to save. And that energy isn't just going to go flying out those hollow windows. I feel like they are sometimes.
Absolutely.
And it's just going to be a better health environment and,
Yeah.
and money saving
It will.
going forward for the district.
It really will.
Right.
Okay, well, anything else you guys got?
That's it.
Okay,
Thank
you very much.
So we'll go over it.
No, so, or I guess they can look at it.
That's the
Contract,
that's
is that
the
on the agenda now? or
longer
is that
version,
later?
but yes.
So I'm reviewing here.
The performance contract? Is that part of the discussion now?
That's what I have here, the contract.
You wanna look at that now?
I've looked at it already. Yep. Yep. Yeah. that's
That's what
right.
we're doing later.
All 66 pages of it?
Yeah. So,
Can you read it?
Of course.
discussion.
Just a little light reading.
Of course I did.
Through thoroughly.
I will say I know it's really, really, really long. There's the last, I don't know how many pages, but a good chunk of it is literally the exact terms and conditions that DOE wrote that are passed through that then we take and then pass through to our subs. So got quite a bit of it.
Contractually, it has to be in the contract.
Yes,
so.
Yeah.
quite a bit of it.
Yes.
There. So, just so you know.
All right. Any more discussion?
Okay. We'll have a
Thank you
seat.
very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. You guys sticking around or are you gonna? Okay, moving on to, input, carry and conceal firearms on policy for property. ASB,
ASB.
Shinbone, you're up.
Hang on.
Hey, I've got a group of
Well,
students over in the middle.
Yeah, you guys might just kind of back over there.
Yeah.
Big reservations.
Okay, so this is a group of ASB. They were tasked with coming together and talking about what CCW would mean to them if it were to come to our schools.
So ASB called an all-class elected officers meeting. So we had freshmen through seniors plus ASB discuss, go over questions. After that meeting, I was approached by our sophomore class president, and she said that's really good, but maybe not enough. So they set up questionnaire tables in the lunchroom because where are you going to find a bunch of teenagers, right? Food. So they put out questions to the student body as well as some of the teachers, asking them questions about it so that we could compile some data to talk about and maybe help them along with their decision and how they did feel about it. So Mia's going to start that, and then we have the questions that we actually sent around that I'll give to you guys so you can look at them while they talk, and I'll hand it over to them.
Okay. Yeah, okay, when you guys tell us your name, will you tell us what you guys do in the student body so we understand your position?
Yep.
That'd be wonderful.
So
Thank you.
my name is Mia Asbury. I'm the president of basically the whole school, our student body.
I'm Avery Durden. I'm the secretary of the student body.
I'm Brenna Elliott, and I'm ASB vice president.
I'm Edith Silker, and I'm ASB Sergeant at Arms.
And I'm Angela Bronk. I'm a sophomore class president.
So basically, we also have a class during the day that we kind of did this all in, took time out of our day and did that. So that's kind of where we did all this and where it kind of came from. So to us, we kind of talked amongst each other and came up what, like the definition to us, what the CCW is. And so we said it's having a hidden weapon on school property, secure and hidden, not known about, but it's decided on or by school districts and staff to help protect us against threats or to guard against individuals who intend to cause harm to us. And Avery has
Okay, so as ASB representing our school, we came up with all these questions that we just handed out to give to our peers so we can get their perspectives on the CCW. And we know it's a controversial topic between, like, there's just two complete different sides. And so we thought it was important to represent the school as a whole, not just among this small group. And so that's why we set out the lunch tables and everything like that. We had 64 total responses, 56% of them being yes, and while 44% being no. And they had several reasons or alternatives to why. And then some of the staff even did it. We had 10 staff responses, 60% being no, while the other 40% said yes. And so those alternative reasons were listed.
Some of the alternative measures were relatively all the same amongst the student responses. Some of them include tasers, stun guns, more resource officers on campus, pepper spray, bats, long-range weapons, and more of a secure building with more metal detectors. And we also the students came up with more self-defense classes, more cameras around school property, fences, and making doors all the way go all the way to the floor. A lot of our doors, at least at the high school, in the math wing especially, there is a big enough gap to fit a mini handgun under the door. That's from like the science being on down that whole hallway.
From the hallway into the classroom?
Yes. Yeah, there's like the door and then a gap. Like you could probably get down there and look underneath the door if you were really trying to.
Here's why some of them said no. They think it poses bigger threats, take other measures, want them in the first place. And then here's why some said yes. Disarm an intruder. Baseball bats aren't enough. Feel more protected and safe. Only some teachers are trusted. Less students would want to bring a gun if they knew teachers were prepared with one. And needs to be used responsibly with precautions taken.
And then I did a little research for like the costs because obviously it's going to cost a lot more money to bring guns in because you guys are, well, the school board is going to be the ones, the district anyway is going to be the ones providing the weapon. And so the costs for that, I did some research and a weapons training course is a free course, but there's a $35 certificate of completion that you have to purchase. And then we obviously want a psych evaluation to make sure the person is mentally stable to work that gun. And a comprehensive evaluation was $2,000 to $3,000 without insurance. And then we obviously want a thorough background check, which is $200. The permit is $49, and you have to renew it every year, with that being $32. And then whatever gun we decided, I just used for an example, just a 9mm, which is $450. And then the ammunition is $30 a box, which only holds 50 rounds. So we obviously have to be providing that. And then you obviously want to keep your weapon clean and greased or, whatever, we have to take precautions with that. So the approximate total for that was $1,264 for one teacher to get a gun, and it depends on, how many teachers we want to equip with one. And I just did the math for the 4 that said yes, which was $5,056 in the end to just provide them with the guns. So then I took the research for costs for like other precautions, because I know a lot of the students want to take, because like jumping into just handing guns out is it's just a big step. I think we need to take baby steps. And so a lot of people were suggesting an SRO officer, which I researched that, and average for Idaho was $67,000 annually to pay to keep them at school. And that obviously depends on like the level of experience they have. And then they suggested walk-through metal detectors at the doors, which is about $4,000 to provide at just like one end, because there's obviously several entrances. A taser, $25 to $50, as well as a stun gun, same price. Self-defense classes depend upon the instructor, but it's average like $30 to $40 an hour. And then we looked at like double door security to have 2 different doors to go through, so we don't just have the one. And that was more of just an on-site quote. They come and, quote your building. And then there's this one thing that was just invented. It's a collapsible bulletproof shelter. So it just sits in like the corner of the room, and you pull it out, and it's just a room that's bulletproof. And they're pretty spendy. They're $50,000. But this article that I found, it says the shelters cost more than $50,000 each, but Dennis asked, what price do you put on the life of the child? And so city in Alabama, Coleman, is the first school system in the country to use them, and they purchased 2 and put them in elementary school classrooms. So that was, obviously it's very expensive, but it's definitely a good invention that people just came up with.
So I think that we need to have some clarifying information on your stuff there. And I'm gonna turn it over to Seth, because that's his forte about the price and the gun and all that stuff, so.
Okay.
Just not a conversation back and forth, but just to clarify some of your answers you got there, that as we are looking at the policy, there's, you're looking at apples and we're at oranges.
Okay.
So.
First of all, I just want to tell you guys what awesome research you guys did. That was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Very good research. I really appreciate that. You guys obviously show concern with your school by getting everyone's input and trying to put that into an understanding and break that down. There's a couple things, that he was wanting us to clarify. First off being, and I want to encourage you guys in your guys' further research of this, or as you guys would go further along, I really would like you guys to understand and maybe incorporate where your constitutional right steps in here, where we're permitting or not permitting this as a governing source. That would be us as a group. So where we would have too much control over your constitutional rights and where we wouldn't, right? And there's a penal code. You guys might want to take note for this one, okay? It's penal code, when you're ready.
Yes.
It's ID, of course, it's Idaho Code 18-330. 330, Section K. Okay? And it's what we consider as an enhanced concealed carry program. Okay? So what this is, it's a program that actually is ran by the state, right? Where they lawfully will allow you to, it's ran by the state for the background checks, but they lawfully allow individuals to apply for an enhanced concealed carry, where it's required that they have training, background checks, both mentally, right, and legally, where they have a specific amount of legal training, right, firearms training, and a consistency thereof, okay? And it's really good to understand that as you guys incorporate that into your guys' questions and into your further research, okay? So the program that we're talking about is a hybrid. It's one that we're discussing. You'll hear us discuss it here in a little bit. We've been discussing this for several months now. And it's one where we found there is a serious need here in this community that response times, in case there was an emergent situation of danger, right, at our schools. And you guys said, like, there's all preventative methods, which we want to get into is actually primary and most important. But the response time for an officer to respond there, if you don't have an active SRO, is so crazy that it actually is double the amount of active shooter situations if there was a danger. If someone did try to bring danger to your guys' school. Does anybody know what the average, what they consider active shooter length time is? Those shootings are done within 3 minutes. Even from this school to that, it would take that amount of time, right? Or from the DO to the high school, it's where 90% of most active shooter situations involved. Actually, sorry, 70%, 30% of middle schools. So the response time was an issue. So we wanted to look at that as being an issue. So the hybrid program that we're talking about is one where we would allow people to apply for their own, with their own money, no mandates at all, getting their enhanced concealed carry license, in which when you research that penal code, it explains what that's involved, right? The amount of training. And then from that, apply with us as a permissible base research in the first place, right? Preventative measures, metal detectors, right? Lockable locking down your guys' campus. I mean, you guys love your campus, don't you? Do you like that you guys can come and go in different directions?
Mm-hmm.
So there's weak points if you have something like that, which we also have to look at, right? Having well, you guys have Go Trail, right? What if we had a metal detector at the Go Trail and every entrance and well, there's also classrooms that people leave their doors open whenever it's hot out. And now we have a kid in here making things cool. So there's a lot of this we're trying to bring into the safety measure, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this is definitely quintessential when we talk about this. So, but other than that, I think that clarifies it best for you guys, and I hopefully you guys will listen and hear what we have to say.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Also,
purchasing equipment, we're really wanting to purchase things that are going to be preventative more than anything else, right? Research time, classes, experience, things that we can offer our teachers if that be possible.
Well, I
as
was
as
referring to guns.
Mhm.
We're not buying
Yeah,
your guns.
firearms, we're not looking at purchasing ourselves.
No.
That's what she was trying to say. And that's what we're saying. We wouldn't do the purchasing in that any manner, or the ammunition, or the training, because we're not mandating anybody carry a firearm in any way. If anything, we're offering the opportunity for those that want to step up to protect you, a legal route, and their constitutional right in doing so. Does that make sense? That's definitely key.
You know, I think a simple way to kind of put that is, we're not mandating what firearm those kids are gonna use. It'd be like all you kids, you kids take a track and we're gonna give you flip flops and you're gonna run 100-mile sprint. That, we don't want to do that. We want what's comfortable for the person. So that's kind of where that's coming in.
Primarily, we want to keep you guys safe. And so we're just talking about many different aspects and avenues, and I hope you guys are aware of that. That's super important.
Okay, so yeah, we also asked kids how they currently feel about like our lockdown drills and our procedures and stuff like that. And most said that they think it's too predictable because every kid knows it and it's could be really easy to work around. Just they're very, I don't want to say blocky, but not also didn't feel comfortable hiding in the corner, or they just felt like it was really, they just didn't feel safe with it.
With the program you guys have now, is what you're saying?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Would you guys want, if there was a situation, would you guys want like active shooter training by professionals there? Would you think that would be good for you guys?
I think people would take it a lot more seriously.
Right.
Yes. Because, yeah.
Right. Both interacting with you students and teachers.
Mhm.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's good to hear.
Yeah, and we also, a lot of kids also said that it would be a good idea to make it taken more seriously if we maybe don't tell teachers or we don't tell students when we're going to have these drills.
Right.
And make them at less predictable times, so like at lunch, during passing period,
Right.
just at more random times.
Good input.
So that
Absolutely.
they're taken more seriously, definitely.
Wow. That's definitely a thought there. Yeah. That's great input. You guys have any questions?
Thank you, ladies.
Yeah, please.
So I'm gonna claim responsibility for bringing you guys in here. When we first started talking about this and gathering input from the community, we were very focused on my parents, the voters, the patrons, right? And part of where I wanted to go was reaching out to your fellow students and teachers in your building and having that interaction with them. The other thing that I want to impress upon you as leaders of your classes is that students that, and whether it's a victim of bullying, cyberbullying, reach out to your fellow classmates. You see the new kid in school, the transfer, the kid that maybe hasn't had a whole lot of friends over the years. You've known them, right? You've been in it, know who it is. You don't know when it's gonna happen. One instance of sitting down, how you doing? How's things going today? Welcome. Could make the entire difference in somebody's day and prevent that incident where they're like, I'm sick and tired of this and I'm going to end it. Because in those instances, those active shooters have no intention of.
With you ladies. We get it. This is your whole world right now. You don't know anything else. School, the drama, the grades, the worrying about friends going to the dance and so not taking somebody to the dance. That's your whole world. An outcast or something, say, hey, you know what's happening, what's going on today? Or say, hey, would you like to come eat lunch with us, or go have whatever it may be. And because you just keep that in the back of your head. This is your world right now. Now, what I've continued on to tell my kids is I said, that doesn't mean anything anymore. Trust me, students' total world right now. So
They went out and said, they wrote something, the people that got that, then you step up or choose not to, that's gonna make that difference. Just by saying there's an issue or there's a problem. And psychological breakdown is what it is, and it's leakage. And when we see that, we want to identify those things, right? And we want to tell somebody. So teachers, it's you guys, students, you guys have the firsthand knowledge of those around you that are having issues and problems. It's easy to communicate with them or communicate there's a problem. So we want to offer that for you guys best.
you guys are close enough with your girlfriends, and I'm gonna say boyfriends is a broad statement, friends that are boys, type thing I get. But, Susie over here is not having a good day, but well, she's kind of acting a little bit funny, but just, things kind of like that, just to be aware.
The last thing I would say is you guys have access to all the stuff going around online about who said what, who's dating, who's breaking, all the stuff that occurs on TikTok and all that stuff.
Been interesting, right?
Wait, I don't do that, but those rumors, those things like that snowball.
Yeah.
And that, I'd say, hey, knock this crap off.
I'm
Take
gonna
it
tell
to a
you,
teacher.
something with the phones. Believe it or not, you can live without this. A lot of us in here have. Right, Pete?
Had to turn it on.
So, again, this is your whole world. It's your technology. You guys are growing up with this. Yes, we need help sometimes, but don't forget we touch it.
Need more than others.
But still, you can live and breathe and function without it. Trust me.
Really appreciate you guys.
But thank you very much.
Do you have more you want to share?
Yeah, just before we wrap
Okay.
this up, I want to let you guys know that we have all of these student responses and teacher responses. If you guys are wanting more information from the students,
Please.
I'll pass out the teacher version. Just when they.
If you
guys are wanting.
I'd love to see the
Can you get them to
responses.
email us?
We've had really great
That'd
input.
be wonderful. If we can just get scanned email all this.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
I'll share them, yeah.
The input from the community has been phenomenal. We've really appreciated the
Yeah.
time and the care and the really serious thought that's gone through all of the inputs that we've received. It's been great. It's been really helpful.
See, yeah, thank you for setting up the plate.
Thanks,
I think
leadership.
that's all we have. So
Yes.
Thank you guys for your time.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. Good research.
Did your principal gonna introduce you from first period tomorrow? Well, I heard you're running the school. I thought you were.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Did I
This
There's one of the teachers and one of the students.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is awesome.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
Oh, that's your friend.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
History teacher
So
wants
there's,
a picture. So they can get their.
Well, that way you could just let around here, or unless you want to deal, whatever you want to do. Oh, they're trying to get out of school. Well, it may happen. Snuggle in. Panoramic?
I thought the look
It's
that I was-
please.
Everybody go angle it.
Okay, got it. Wait,
What do you
oh,
want?
You can't even tell them.
You're sure you're good.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Did it turn out or we need to do a retake?
Yeah, well, that one.
Oh. I can edit that stuff nowadays, I think.
AI.
They can. I don't know how, but.
Okay, first reading, board policy 5900, concealed carry, firearms on property. Okay, discussion.
No, first you have.
First reading, over there.
Oh, you want it?
Input by
Yeah,
ASB.
my fault. Big no.
I don't know, where do we start the discussion?
Discussion?
Do you want to look at the?
Yeah, did you guys all review the policy?
It logged you out?
Can we get those changes made that we discussed that? We were discussing.
Well,
that.
let's read and see if we did. We're making a lot of changes along the way, so having your eyes on it will help make sure we're.
Well, just remember this is the first reading.
Yeah,
so.
Yep.
exactly.
This one just bring it up.
I would, right now I can see it, something I would like to have out of there.
What's that?
The deadly force. I think it just needs to say stop the threat.
Means the intentional application of force or the use of firearms or any other means reasonably likely to cause serious death. That's a legal definition. I'm just letting you know, like deadly force means to what's allowing those limits.
It's one of those bases
Is
we
that-
need to cover.
That's a legal definition.
I had
Yeah.
a question on that.
Yes, ma'am.
Because a lot of, next to many of the terms,
Mhm.
there's like the citation
Mhm.
statute. That was, so can we, in parentheses, like we did the other terms, add the statute or where
we
that
could. Yeah,
definition came from?
absolutely.
I think it adds teeth if we're one, you know,
Brain
it's firearm, ammunition,
is
the carry
justified
concealed permit,
homicide and
all have
self-defense.
the citation.
Yeah, let me
We
let
don't
me
need
get
to
that to
now.
you, yeah, because I
If
have
you're
I have them
okay.
in notes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Tana and I would add that. for the
Yep.
second read.
What defines deadly force? I think it's in section 19202. I'll look it up for you.
201, 203.
201,
Because
203.
you have it already on your paper, just down below, the next paragraph.
It's 19.
Well, under deadly force.
Yep, next
Yep,
paragraph.
yep. got
Yeah, it says
I'm just gonna put it
19201.
next to the term.
The 202, the 202A, self-defense.
It says through 19203.
Person using deadly force is 19203, section 5. What's in their habitation, place of business. Or it goes on to explain the notice, and refers back to 202.
So I'll put it in parentheses next to deadly force,
Okay.
follow the same format, if that's okay.
Yep. Yeah, it says it again, under levels of force and deadly force, 19201 to 203. The big thing here when it says force, when force may be used, legally it's defined as an imminent danger, and we don't have that in here. When force may be used is only when there's an imminent danger. There's levels of force. Here it is, caring for injury kit.
Okay, it's referring back to the code in 9201. Any worse, usually worse.
Does 19, does that statute say on it, did you?
Yeah, I'm gonna find it in here. It refers to it in 19201.
So.
So 19202A, Section 3. In the exercise of the right of self-defense or defense of another, a person may not retreat from any place that a person has a right to be. A person may stand his ground or defend himself or another person by the use of all force and means which would be which would appear to be necessary to a reasonable person in a similar situation and with similar knowledge without the benefit of his hindsight. It goes on to explain. Any prosecution for the unlawful use of deadly force or the attempt threatened the use of force contrary to Title 18, which is what we're referring to. The burden is on the prosecution. Here we go. It's okay, so I'm going to 192, it's still 202A. This is 202A Section 5, which I referred back to again. And in 202A Section 5, it says, a person used deadly force in the defense of habitation, place of business, employment, or occupied vehicle, yada, 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 goes on to explain the rest, is presumed to have acted reasonably and had a reasonable fear of imminent peril of death or serious bodily injury if the force is used against a person whose entry or attempted entry therein is unlawful and is made attempted by the use of force or in a violent or tumultuous manner. That's really defined in 19202A, Section 5. Yep.
It says here, Idaho Code 19-201 through 19.
And it does, it defines it both, so I think it's covering that.
Well, I guess,
I had a question. Let's see, right above the section where it says discharge a firearm, there's a statement. The board and superintendent reserves the right to rescind permission to carry a firearm and ammunition at any time for any reason or for no reason.
Is
Yeah.
there a reason it's worded that way? A legal reason why it's worded that way?
No, it's this, we had researched through this and we used others.
I think
Yeah.
that's somebody else's.
So I think that was one that we had actually talked about striking out that maybe we missed. I think that there's, in my personal opinion, that would be obviously for disciplinary actions and they're not for no reason.
Right, yeah, we don't want it to be abused
Right.
Right.
with the no reason.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It could become discriminatory.
Right.
Exactly.
So I
So
don't
strike
know how
out for no reason and put a period after any reason.
I guess I would kind of
Or-
read those two statements as being the same. We could
That
revoke
is.
it for any reason or
Right.
for no reason.
Oh.
You know what I
When you
mean?
say for
You
no
want it-
reason,
they
it would
want
have to
no
be
reason
for
at
a
all.
reason.
There would have to be,
For a reason.
reason.
yeah.
So how would
And
we
if
word that
that's-
as a disciplinary action or a reason of safety? How would we word that?
I think a reference back to a violation of the policy.
Okay.
Um,
Because it said twice, it said 2 or 3 times
Yeah, it does.
in that paragraph,
Community board may
rescind
revoke
for any
permission to
reason.
possess a firearm.
but never specifies what the reason would be.
So
I
it could
think
be
maybe-
something as generalized Sorry, Beth.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
It could be something as generalized as any, any sort of violation of the terms set within the policy as reference, the policy references the penal code. And so at any time, whether it's a lapse of certification, a failure to meet qualifications, standards, a background check, I think a disciplinary discuss, maybe everything legally is okay, but maybe there was an incident within the facility while on employment hours that would constitute a board review.
Right. Because it needs to be a specific disciplinary action. It can't be the fact of,
Yeah, it couldn't be like a teacher stepping in to stop a fight. Well, maybe they took preventing that, or trying to stop that fight a little beyond. In separating the students, a student got injured as a result of. Well, does that necessarily disqualify the educator because, well, they took it too far and so hit their head on that's something where the incident would have to be investigated a little further, and then the evidence to the board where, okay, yes, they clearly should have had the self-restraint to lower or de-escalate the scenario, and the student shouldn't have been injured, or because of the level of violence that was occurring, to keep the student from getting injured, they physically had, there's just some
It needs to be
circumstances there.
specific. Or maybe it should be in general saying that any disciplinary action will review the policy itself. We'll review any disciplinary action, right? Will be up to the board to review.
Yeah.
Their permission to carry. I think that's fair to say. So it allows, if there's.
They would have the opportunity to, one, defend themselves, but also, the cameras, we can look at the video and we can make a decision for ourselves, but understand what the circumstances were around whatever that incident was.
But at the same time, for that, whatever is happening, whatever is giving a reason to think that maybe this person should have it revoked, there needs to be, the superintendent needs to have the ability to immediately revoke that. Like, from this moment on, you are not allowed.
Right.
Or put it in like a probationary
Yes,
status,
but you
pending
are-
further
She
review.
has the right to be able to
Yes.
revoke that if any, but not for.
But
no
like,
reason.
Yeah,
no,
there
no, no,
needs
not
to
for
be
no
a
reason,
reason
but
why you're gonna
something
revoke the
happens,
privilege.
but there's immediate revocation until there is time.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that needs to be in play.
Yes.
That there needs to be an immediate revocation
Right.
until things can be
Yeah,
reviewed.
but there
Just
must
not
be a
for no
reason
reason.
for it.
No, yeah, the no reason should be struck.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll play with that wording and bring it back.
Okay.
But we struck no reason.
Use of force training involving use of firearm. improvements.
I have one other, this is just whether it's a typo or
I
so
see
we
one too, where it said
referenced
trustee.
under the application process, we referenced the complete and submit the district CCW application, but we're actually requiring the enhanced.
Exactly.
Enhanced, and that only
Yeah,
to be
that needs-
reworded. Anything that says CCW needs to refer
Say
to the very beginning. ECCW with explanation thereof.
Two totally different
Yeah.
things.
Yeah,
Exactly.
where, yeah.
That was a
needs to
typo.
always
Because
be
it, not a
ECC.
typo, just forgot, because the
Yeah.
others all say ECC.
So where it says training,
Yeah. I have a training question.
only those who have obtained and maintained a current enhanced CCW, enhanced concealed handgun license, enhanced concealed carry weapon license, that's what it's called, CCW, in accordance, so that needs to be reordered, with state law are eligible. Oh, never mind, there's a wording, to be considered to apply, never mind, I'm sorry. I didn't make it clear.
Are we good?
Yeah.
What you say needed to be reworded?
And it was just piggybacking off what he says, and even where it says enhanced,
So
or it says
no-
CCW, or it says enhanced, or it says handgun license, the actual wording in the penal code verbatim is enhanced concealed carry weapon license,
Yes.
otherwise known as an ECCW.
You want license or permit?
It says enhanced
Oh,
concealed
down
carry.
here it says CCW.
Or the exact.
It's a license.
Yeah.
You have to go to the.
No, I know several, I know we had.
What it says.
I have mine.
Yeah, I can word permit.
I'll tell you, it
Okay.
is.
Yeah, it's enhanced concealed
license to
weapons
carry
license.
concealed weapon.
Yeah, right here. This
Enhanced
is another
license.
typo.
So every
ECCW.
every reference in
Or-
here needs
Yes.
to be exact.
Correct.
Yeah.
Got it. We got that.
Enhanced carry concealed weapon.
Yep.
Yeah, here it says enhanced carry handgun license.
Yeah, I know, that's just, and that has to do with some other states and, yep, they're different wording. So it's called ECCW, Enhanced Concealed Carry Weapon.
Yep.
Yeah, so that just needs to be carried through,
All the way through.
just all the way
Yeah.
through every time. 'Cause
Same
like on
Anywhere you see it.
Correct.
for C, complete and submit district CCW application, that needs to be ECCW. so-
Yes.
So is even the title, that it means a firearm, weapon,
What, for the title of
carry concealed firearm.
Well, Linda, any
Carry
person
concealed
approved
weapon.
to carry a firearm.
yeah,
Oh,
just in the title.
it should be enhanced,
getting a license.
That's fine for the
carry
title.
concealed.
It's not for the
Carry
title,
firearm
'cause
on
now
school
we're talking
property.
about the license they're gonna have to be able to carry.
That's fine, is what I'm saying. I think it's okay.
I think so.
If you're on training, any person approved to carry a firearm on school property.
Right.
So
So we were
Should that
talking
be-
about the license.
reworded there.
No, because it's still referring to in the ECCW that is a firearm.
They're gonna get their enhanced carry conceal license to then be able to carry concealed weapon.
Yeah, it's a tricky wordplay, but state's been doing this for
One's
years.
training and
The
one's.
name of their license is it's either like they call them CWPs, concealed weapon permit, or they call them an or they call them CCW, concealed carry weapon, or sometimes there's a concealed handgun license. But our state refers to it as a concealed carry weapons license.
Yeah, enhanced concealed weapons license.
Yep.
So are we down, where are we at right
Well,
now? I
still
don't
think
want to
it should
jump
be
ahead.
changed under training.
Okay.
Any person approved to carry a firearm on school property.
You want that changed to concealed carry weapon?
Well,
Enhanced.
I would, because otherwise that's leaving a loophole there for you, isn't it?
Well, no, because if you leave weapon, a weapon can refer to a baseball bat, a rifle,
Are you asking that
But-
enhanced should be in front of that? For the type of
Well, if we
training?
talk about, you're talking about it carrying a firearm on school property.
Correct.
Any person
be
approved to carry a firearm
firearm.
on school property. Consistent through the policy.
Okay.
Okay, so it would be after it, she shall be at minimum receive training and a ECCW.
It's on the application.
Any person approved to carry a firearm on school property.
Shall have a minimum of okay.
Receive training and ECCW. That's
Should
what
have,
it should-
maybe that's what it should specify. is
That's
elaborate
where it
on that.
should be. At minimum, should receive their enhanced concealed carry weapons training
You follow that board?
Yeah.
or license.
So it starts at.
It's
where
under
said-
training.
It starts at training. It's actually further below the, under the application process. But let me clarify if this is what you're wanting to say.
No, it's
Is
right
it-
in the first sentence.
Yeah.
Under training, any person approved to carry a firearm on school property shall at minimum receive, and then it should define the ECCW license
Agreed.
and understand all
I
facets
mean, I think
regarding.
just to be consistent.
yeah.
through the-
Yeah, that clarifies that.
Because like I said, I think,
Enhanced
So then the
CWL.
second statement, we should take out handgun to be
They have on
consistent,
the Idaho Sheriff's
right?
Association.
And it needs to say weapon.
And yeah, it needs to be consistent with what's
Consistent
actually
all the
on
way
the
through.
license.
Right.
And then the third statement has it correct. Enhanced concealed carry weapons.
Enhanced
Now we got it.
concealed weapons license.
Yeah. Can I go back real fast to physical intervention? There's it's on the second page, kind of. Under levels of
Physical
force, the physical intervention.
Mhm.
The second sentence, it says physical force or bare hand contact. We don't do that as a staff.
Right.
So can I take that out?
I would.
And just leave physical force to guide. People are trained in seclusion and restraint, so physical force to guide, direct, hold, restrain, or defend.
As far as I'm concerned, the
Would be
factor
a
of like,
Not very.
we're not training ourselves to get involved or wrestle or any of that stuff. And frankly, we shouldn't do it in the first place if there's going to be any This is an emergent situation.
I think though where this is important is that in case that something were to happen and the staff took a step prior to going to that next level of
There's
force.
certain training we receive in de-escalation and seclusion and restraint. And
How do we
bare
do
hand is
that?
not one. We did right there by taking out
It's-
bare hand.
Okay, bare hand.
Yeah. As long as that aligns with that other
training.
policy in the training, that
Yeah, there is there's a whole policy on restraint. and
Mhm.
seclusion.
And that'll protect anybody that uses de-escalation management.
Yep.
This kind of references it. We're under training again. Only those who have obtained and maintain a current enhanced concealed, which we're fixing that language. It references that to get that, I mean, the assumption is made that to get that license, you went through training through somebody that was approved to provide that training.
Yeah.
Assumptions
Yeah.
are not any good
Yeah.
in policy. So I think it needs to be clear in here
By a
that
trained.
will be an approved provider of said training or
Well, you-
how it needs to
Well,
be.
you have to
referenced.
have
Hold on,
that
so-
sign, you go through the course and they give you a signed certificate that you've gone through it, and you're not going to the sheriff's department and getting your license without it.
It says right here.
It's not
all
happening without
certificates-
that.
Okay, right? It says certificates have to be signed by, including the instructor's name,
Instructor.
who they are, their course instruction.
Their
Says,
license number.
an active senior or emeritus member of Idaho State Bar, including the instruction and who they are, a lawful officer, so on and so forth, explains those certified of intermediate or higher. Basic concept of safe, responsible use of handguns, self-defense principles, live fire training. The instructor must provide a copy of the syllabus and a written description of the course of fire in a qualified handgun course that is included in the description on request. Okay, so this goes to the sheriff upon request. Oh, there's an actual spot where it says that on their certificate, it's supposed to have their instructor license. So I mean, if you guys want something further,
Well, I'm wondering, so that it is absolutely 100% crystal clear, if that blurb, the couple of sentences right there
Mhm.
was the headline underneath training, that it just specifically.
This is what's
This
included in
is
the
what it is.
Okay.
At a minimum.
You've completed a licensed training course
By an approved,
yeah, that's,
accredited.
by
that's
a
under,
state approved course
you want that
instructor.
definition of that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's in Idaho Code 18-332,
33002?
330, sorry, 3302K.
Because when you complete
Okay.
it, they
And that
give you
actually
this
defines,
little
right?
sheet that has all this.
There's
a lot to
accredited
this,
instructor and
guys.
your
Yeah, I
name's on
had it a
it.
long time ago.
Well, look, Ken and I.
Yeah,
can sign
you bring it to
And
the
you
sheriff.
have to
The
take
sheriff
that.
does the background check.
He does
And
all of
what we
the-
really
They get a
should
hold.
do,
to verify that you went through it, all of that. And your fingerprinting and all of that goes through at the sheriff's department. And then you're issued, and it's not a permit, it is a license.
Yeah.
So the word permit needs to be replaced with license.
Yes, we're doing that.
so,
So it's not a certificate or a permit, it is a license.
Yes.
that's in section, so this is
Okay.
defined in section 4, 18332K, section 4, and there's a lot of it. It goes from A all the way down to C, and C has
Okay.
several different ads, right? All the way down through.
It's from taking
As long as I think
different
there's a very
policies
clear
and putting them
sentence in
together.
there,
Right,
that just references
right,
back
right.
The
to
instructor's
that.
certificate.
18330 section 2, section.
And under the application process, I think there's, what you have to provide back as part of that application, it's definitely providing that proof, right?
Yeah, the license.
It gets pretty descriptive in this. I think if we reference this code
I think it
specifically,
just-
it should.
Yeah.
Because it talks about how it has to be face to face, it has to be with an approved instructor, these instructors have this much training. They require this much in hours of divorce attorney teaching you law and self-defense. It specifies in this.
It might be
which is all
good at
great.
it. But yeah, I think under the legal references at the bottom, it's just not.
Yeah, we need to add all those.
So,
We only have
Okay.
3302.
Something I didn't find here, maybe I'm lost.
I
Was
had that too. I had my legal references.
I want to reference what a lot of the patrons discussed is how often the training should be, right?
Mhm.
And I didn't find a specific to that here.
Right.
And I think when I think it was, I want to say it was 63 or something percent said something about of an annual training would be a really good offering. That'd be in ECCW training, right? I think there's benefits to having law training, especially in understanding your limits of self-defense, the aftermath of using a firearm. Those are really beneficial. But we also discuss other things. We've discussed about like
On-site.
on-site training.
On-site training.
Right. So I think there needs to be a reference to this too.
Mental acuity
Mhm.
training. Different aspects, there could be different trainings that, each year
Okay.
to emphasize and to enhance their awareness and their ability.
Would it be an annual training of a different assortment? So they need to provide an annual training no matter what that would be, something in this regard?
Or so many
would it-
hours that they need to get.
Okay.
So then they
That's
could
what
choose
I'm
what
worried.
training they want to go
Right.
to.
This was like a
Because
big
there
concern
was
of
somebody
most people that
brought up
wanted
something.
this. We're like, hey,
I like that.
But we should definitely
Certain
provide the
areas.
list
I like that.
of where it's available. Like, make sure we know where these trainings are
Then,
available.
yeah.
They can get them.
A
And where they
resource
can
or a
go.
library of what
And then
that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the
And
patrons
that-
brought up personal protection inside the home training.
yeah, I saw that.
So PPIF and PPOF, right? This
Yeah,
actually,
that.
just so we understand, PPIF is personal protection inside the home. It's an RA course that this program is based off of. There's a personal protection outside the home course, right?
Right.
Which is beyond that, right? Which actually, this is why I like what the Idaho Code did is they took the PPIF course and they added the legal training, which is a PPOF method. I know there's a lot of acronyms here, but what that does is it now they've taken it and made their own course. Idaho has done this. That's why I like the enhanced course was because it offered that. You're going through a PPOF course, it's going to give you that option. But I mean, we discussed other things. We talked about active shooter situations. We talked about mental heightened sense of awareness training. We've talked about, you were discussing even like further if they want to go get a post-certified training of their own. There's a lot of different engagements we can offer that I think we need to look at as an opportunity. But I think further development and annual development is something that was key.
Yeah.
That was
Right.
patron was like, hey, I want to know that whoever's doing this, we want to make sure that they're staying on
They're
top of it.
engaged in some aspect of it because it's going to emphasize the whole concept and just deepen it and better it every year.
Well, enhancement requires every 5 years, isn't it?
It is 5 years, yeah.
I think that's too much.
Yeah, make it 2. And
For
then
the
just
minimum
say
of enhanced.
every other year you need to go get 8 hours of training and
Or you
bring
can
in
get
proof of
enhanced,
it.
Or you can just go to enhanced.
Right, yeah, every other year. Then that odd year, you
But
get
if we
training
can
or
offer
something.
that they do other things.
So,
like-
So I was, okay, so I was thinking something along the lines of definitely under training, add how often.
Right.
So I heard annual
some form of
and
annual.
list different areas that I could bring that to, like the mental acuity, the legal side, the police officer side, the shooting range side, school side training, that
PPIF, yeah, sure.
that
Inside
one.
the house.
Could just list some, and you could tell me next time we bring it if we.
Is it a
list-
list of courses that would
list,
be okay,
right.
but further training. I think annual training should be something.
There,
That's
yeah,
And then
some
you-
Annual training.
some form of annual.
And then
training.
how often did you say?
Well, and it
for-
needs to be every 5 years, so we'd have to make it like you get it 1 year, and then 2 years, and then 3 years later, because you have to do that fifth one for your 5th year for read. So you're not going to do them 2 years in a row.
Granted, if we offered if it's the CCW.
Well, you'd get a receipt,
So-
so you could just take it in.
Josh, go ahead.
In between those, the 5-year renewal
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
Instead of, I think we're overcomplicating it and we just put it out there that they need to have X number of hours per year or
Per year.
biannually
Okay.
to meet the continuing education or continuing, viability of the license, right? Some of that you could do something where, I think there's already active school scenario, active shooter
Yeah, we're
scenarios
looking at that one.
annually, right? Well, whether it's one per semester, maybe they get credit for an hour, but really it's required that they, within that 5-year period or biannually, there's 8 hours total. So 4 hours or 5 hours of that is actually on them, their responsibility.
Right.
But the
Submit.
district is going to be responsible for
Well, I think-
something
Tracking it.
state,
Could be responsible if
statewide
they
or
choose to be part
schoolwide.
of.
Yeah.
With that being said, I think 8 hours is very minimal in training.
Well, do we want it
But I would say
all?
I'd like to see annually.
Do we
personally,
want
my
it
personal
all
opinion.
classroom hours, or do we want some of it to be, or a possibility of it being? So that would be one of their.
Going down too far into the weeds, but from a community comfort standpoint and interaction, you know, building that rapport with law enforcement. At no cost to the school district, we have certified firearms instructors within our local law enforcement. And part of that may be working with Tony to identify, hey,
Yeah.
These are all good different avenues.
Yeah.
Can we at least
I
put
like
just
that.
the wording of like having
So many
training,
hours,
agree on
8
that?
hours each
Yeah.
year,
Annual training
Annual
required,
training.
Yep.
8
minimum
hours.
8 hours.
Yep.
A
So we
mix
can
of
figure out what that
class
would be.
and range time.
Or if you
Because
guys
that,
think
if they want to choose to just redo the ECCW
Then they
course
have that
again,
option.
they can have that option. But if we also provided a list of other things,
You know,
like,
I think, to me, I feel if you're gonna have training, I don't think you should have the ECCW again. You know, and keep in mind, whatever that we put in there for training, we're gonna have to pay for.
And that's kinda where I was
yeah, in a.
thinking
we
down
don't
the
wanna
road
mandate
of,
what it is. We just want to say 8 hours. of
Well,
training.
but
Well-
no matter what it is, we're gonna have to pay for it, period. If we're asking them that
In
they've gotta
addition to
do
their every
X amount
5 year.
of training a year to whatever it is, then the district's gonna be liable to pay for it.
If we say, if we ask them and we say, hey, you know, for you to get your application and apply every year, you have to have 8 hours of training. We have to mandate that we have to pay for their training. That's another one was a program we were doing right in the first place. I'm just asking. 'Cause I
Well,
don't-
no,
Well,
their
what-
ECCW,
whatever- Yeah, the
the
initial
enhanced,
one. I think
whenever
is
they do
fine,
their
yeah.
enhanced, their license,
You know, you gotta move
2,
on,
3, and 4.
you know.
I
Because
wonder,
your 1
and
and
I haven't,
5 are the enhanced. And
I
then you've
haven't-
got 2, 3, and 4 that we want them to do some other form of training.
so I haven't looked into this, but but I mean, I think down the road of like the legal, here's a legal review. Here's some sand tables.
Do the training and you're eligible, or you
Or-
don't do
or
the
you
training
don't.
and you're out.
Yeah, that's what I want to say.
So
I wanna
that's why we
clarify
put it
that's what
on
Jody
them
was
to
saying.
pay for
Jody,
it
you're saying
themselves.
that we shouldn't put down what training they do, but we should just mandate that they do training, so we're not liable to paying for that training. Is that what you're saying?
So if you go get the concealed carry permit.
Yep.
Okay, so you're already gone through the background check, fingerprints, all that stuff. And then you start adding training on that, okay, they need 8 hours training, you know, no matter what it is. Well, then once you start dictating to that employee, no matter, you know, the minute you start dictating to that person what they need to do to keep current, then you're gonna have to pay for it.
Because
You heard that from the
5 years
patrons.
is too far.
You heard that from the
But I'm
patrons.
agreeing, Jody. We need to have like we need to have, you know, just not the same thing.
You know, first
And
aid
share
and
deals
stop
with
the
how
bleed and.
What we, I guess, are allowing. If, you know, if the application is correct, but if that person wants to come and go through the.
Like our people that we hire for us to look after our kids, to also be responsible. No different than we look after factor how their training goes for their schooling. We need to say,
We could
are they
train them,
qualified enough? No different, right? To protect our kids.
Quite
It's our
honestly, if
responsibility.
somebody is balking at getting training,
What's that, sorry?
if somebody balks at getting more training, that's
But
Sorry,
so
you're not
when you become a
approved.
teacher, do you keep taking that same course over
right.
and
No,
over
no,
and
no,
over
no,
again?
no, no. No,
that's-
no, I
you're
totally
trying to
agree
make
with
it
broadening the
step
training,
up.
but if somebody balks at getting training in different areas and expanding their knowledge, well, we don't want that in a teacher either, but you know,
The most important about the training that's included.
they have to be really involved in this and interested in this.
Exactly. And they're gonna have to take an interest to take it this far. And it's gonna have to be a
Yeah.
lot of a lot of hoops for them to jump through. I think the biggest thing that we're doing with training is no matter what, anybody that takes this seriously enough needs to always be training their mind of legalities, of self-defense, of stepping away from problems, of identifying issues before they start, of identifying imminent danger.
Such
All of these
scenarios.
things that further training would promote. So I think we need to get in the weeds of this a little bit, but I think that there's a point where we definitely need to be careful on the blanket of how much we, as Jody was suggesting.
Well, yeah, if we start paying for it, then we're gonna be getting, you know, a reimbursement for somebody driving to Boise for training. And that's gonna cost us $800.
And that's where we're at.
Well, if we start
Well, and
if we start,
Well, that,
the
it's kind of
insurance
hard to
guy
launch.
also
I mean,
said
it's
that that's-
reimbursable
we
up
need to
to,
avoid that.
Yeah, Josh, look,
we're
Say
not
that again,
paying for
Josh.
their travel
The,
time. to-
you know, the
Yeah, but they're gonna
presentation
do
by
it.
the insurance
Yeah.
representative the other night.
You wanna be
That's
sending
where
it to
he.
Hawaii.
right? Yeah,
For the-
exactly. So it's like,
Right,
how,
no,
how
I mean,
deep
you
we're
have
gonna
a
go with this?
reimbursable up to. I mean, we identify certain trainings and we see what their costs are. And if we did go that route, well, it would be reimbursable up to whatever we decided it would be at a reasonable cost of what training. We'll pay for the class and they can pay for Hawaii.
I think we're getting out of it because I think
Yeah.
there's a difference between mandating someone do this training to be a teacher
And
and not mandating that they need to carry a farm to be a teacher, just offering the chance for them to do it and having parameters to protect yourself
Right.
in a very blanket term.
yeah,
And that's kind of what that insurance agent was saying, was like, this is a touchy subject. You should have some wording, but overwording's too much. Requiring it, that's something that if you're going to do that, then you're going to hire an agency. You're going to hire somebody that's going to be doing that on our, we're not doing that. We got to remember what we're doing this originally for. We're trying to offer a blanket situation to protect our kids by giving the rights back to people, those that want to acquire those,
right.
through a list of hoops and allowing them to do that.
So we just make it 8 hours training.
I think we
For
need to
now.
play with that wording right now. Let's just do that, and then let's
And
look
then
at
we'll
different
get
avenues, talk to
some-
legal about it,
And I'll talk to
and
Sheriff
see how
Gills
far
and
we
see
can go
what,
before we'll help liable for that.
and we can
Yep.
bring it back for the next, reading.
Okay,
Good next step.
moving on to Idaho School Board's activities.
Oh, wait, is that the rest of it?
Are we done?
I thought we had a whole nother section.
That's, I was just referring, I didn't read through it, I don't know about you guys.
District
Where are you guys
rights.
at?
This
I
whole,
got down through the application.
yeah,
Right.
and
I
that
got through the
whole other
application
section after the application. Yeah,
Yep.
and we don't have the application written yet.
So I don't have any process.
I think the
I just
application
got down to
needs
the
to be
legal
written and approved after
references.
we approve policy,
Where?
before we would go on.
Legal
further
references
with
at the
it,
bottom of the policy?
I would think.
With what?
I said, first we get the policy, then we would want to really scrutinize and have legal take the application. Make sure the application.
Legal would
Rights
have
number
to,
I
Yeah, okay.
follow you.
yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Sorry, my eyes hurt.
No, I know.
Here it is under district rights, again, district reserves the right to
Yeah.
revoke permission,
Just-
did you guys say that?
Yeah, I just wanted to see what your thoughts on section 1, 2, and 3 before we move on.
Under what section?
District rights, 1, employee and trustee responsibilities, 2, restriction on firearm possession, 3, then the attachment for the application. And we don't have the application yet.
Oh, that section, okay.
Yeah, that last section.
One, okay.
So inspection,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Where you at?
Two, section
Section-
312,
I'm in section 1, paragraph 2.
okay.
Yeah, has no expectation of or no method inspection.
No, I
Because
thought we were
I
not
believe
doing
the
that.
intent is privacy.
I don't even see that on there.
Yeah, it says the manner of which is carried or the CCW on school grounds and the employer trustee.
No, there it is. Yeah, okay. We want that crossed out.
And yeah, must allow inspection of, I mean,
Yeah.
now we're talking about
Yeah.
certified.
No.
You're not a
Certified to do
certified
that.
firearms
Right, we don't-
instructor.
yeah, we're
you
not
don't
training.
have- Right, we're not an armor.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
I mean, if they break
The
rules,
next-
you call the police.
Then the next statement.
And that's similar to the.
Yeah, that's
above.
already been
Okay,
said.
but this one says, it doesn't say for no reason. This one
Correct.
says for any reason,
Well,
Right.
it says at any time.
at any time. Yeah, and.
That's
and
fine.
Notice
That's
of
the one that says
revocation
any
may be
reason.
given verbally or written in accordance to applicable policy or regulations. Do we need to put something in there
I think it needs to be.
We are in the other-
subject to
Similar wording
further
to what we had
review?
before.
Like
Yeah,
subject
whatever
to
we
further
write in that
review?
other
Yeah.
section, I'll,
Then this needs to be blanketed in
copy
this.
and paste over.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm
I'm gonna turn that over to you. I gotta go to work in 2 hours.
sorry, man.
Hi,
Appreciate you
Jody.
being here. So I'm on section 2, second sentence.
I'll stop by.
Mom.
When I'm done.
Okay.
Drive safely.
Yeah. Get a little bit of sleep.
Overrated.
Sleep's overrated. Sleep's overrated.
Permission to carry fireman ammunition on school grounds contingent with undersigned completion of training program requirement instructions for workers, compensation, liability, or insurance carrier.
There's your approved
There you
trainer,
go.
instructor,
So that. yeah,
whatever
so I
language
read
we
that under-
use.
Yes.
Yeah, for state.
And or that's where you can blanket that again.
Yeah.
You guys understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Under the employees, trustees' responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Second sentence.
Permission to carry firearms.
So in possession of an ECW, it says in the third sentence. Protect on the third. I'm not seeing that. So, section 3, first paragraph,
Something
first
like that.
sentence. So this specifies on their body at all times.
Where are you at? Are you
This
section
is
3?
section 3, restriction of firearm. Okay, there's
Sure.
a wide variety of people saying.
I know, this is
in
a
a
big
locked
section.
location that we can allow
Yeah, this one.
pertaining to the teacher in positive contact.
Yeah, that statement. Okay.
So this is where we discuss log boxes. It's a stop box.
Yeah,
Yeah, those are actually made locally, I think, somewhere close
I
by.
think they're in Spokane.
So not locally, but
I just wish they could be screwed down.
So we
So
gotta
here's-
fix this one a little bit.
we do. We need, because it says you're right here under the undersigned responsibility for maintaining positive contact. That alone is a legal term.
Securely
Positive
stored.
contact it defines as, and I can find it for you later, and I will find it for you actually.
All times.
Right, and that specifies, we've just specified one, we haven't specified the other, so we either need to be consistent in allowing that and defining that, what
Right.
that means, which I think we should legally,
And then secured
and then we need
storage.
to discuss what that
Securely
would be.
stored.
What would securely stored be? Where would that be? How would that be?
Yep. Without getting too.
If it's too, I don't know.
I know.
The problem with that, when you think about the layout of all the different buildings, unless it's actually in the classroom, but then the threat may be in the gym,
And so that's up to the
or
carrier.
the multipurpose building, or the lunchroom.
So
And
that
then
would-
they're nowhere near Kippy Solflo's math room at the end of the hall.
Sure, but it would only be Kippy that would know that if it was Kippy's gun. And it would only be Kippy that would have contact, that knowledge of that, and decide whether or not she would carry that to the gym or she would keep it in her class. The portion of having one close by would give her an option.
But then in a classroom setting, I mean, you're hardly ever alone in a classroom.
Agreed.
How are you going to pull a gun out of a safe with no one ever seeing it?
Well, you don't pull a gun out of the safe with other people around, ever.
Right.
But that
You
doesn't
gotta
mean
get
to
it in
affect ever. Like,
Well,
you don't ever pull it out.
No.
You gotta get it in there.
Right.
Too.
So
But she's
would that
gotta
be
put it-
before or after hours? Would that be in a locked
Yeah,
classroom? Can you lock your class?
Could you leave it in there overnight and just
No,
have it in there
that's
all
not
the time?
No, I
Positive
think
contact.
that's in there. That's not positive.
Positive
contact.
contact is control.
But how much control do you have when you're
So-
taking your class to the gym and your room is up above the office in Hayburn and you've taken your class down to lunch or down to the gym?
Sure.
That's not positive contact.
So then you got to carry it on you all the time.
Or, once again, this is kind of where positive contact means control. You have control of it. You have the locked keys, only you, right? Would that be a drawer? If it's locked into a drawer, sure. Would that be it's considered a legal lock container as positive contact as your vehicle. If you have keys to that vehicle and you lock that in your vehicle, you have positive contact in your vehicle. Nobody else has keys to that, right? If everybody else has keys to that drawer, then you no longer have positive contact of that gun. You have no control of it. So this needs to be taken into understanding if we discuss this for being in a classroom or in a drawer or on your person. But it's also hard for me to say, if I were to say, Beth, you got to carry this gun on you at all times and choose to do so. It's also not limiting some. I'm going to use a lady, for example, with a small frame. Them that option in carrying if they wanted to carry. Now they have to carry bulkier clothing or in a specific area. This is where we're really starting to control that.
It
Right.
definitely.
You
does
just leave
put
it
a
up to them
crimp
until
in your
something comes
fashion
up.
Style.
Right.
Um,
Or, oh, I carry on a purse, right? Or I carry on my ankle, or whatever the case is. Paul's wife once said to me, like, hey, I love getting hugs. So this is kind of where, this is where the legal terms of understanding what positive contact means really needs to be defined. This is why I think that should be in there.
Yeah, I'll add that.
Yeah.
Once you,
And I will find out exactly what that
Yeah.
determines, and we can rediscuss that.
okay, and then something along with securely stored, right?
Securely
We'll-
stored,
we'll-
absolutely.
Yeah, okay, so we'll start there and then bring it.
Because this is something that everyone's asked for
Yeah,
in one
they
shape,
have.
way, and I want it to be something that we're all discussing and okay with.
Right.
So
Okay.
the big deal, I wanted to say this here, a firearm may be discharged or brandished on district property in self-defense of others. The word brandish is defined as to shake, waving, or showing it.
Yeah.
In an ostentatious or aggressive manner, not in self-defense. And it specifies
Yeah, I
that.
got you. Oh, that
And I'll
should
get
be
that.
struck out.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
brandishing
yeah,
is an
yeah,
actual
yeah.
legal
I'm
term
with
where you
you.
can be charged with brandishing.
Yep.
So
Can only be discharged, got it. On
in
school property
self-defense, under an imminent danger.
Yeah, I like the imminent danger because that's the language we're using.
Right.
Okay,
In compliance with Idaho and federal law, and I can give you guys, I'll actually take note of that.
the citation again. And we're gonna list it at the back. All of the,
Are you guys comfortable with us defining, I want to make sure we didn't finish that conversation, but
No, that sounds good.
finding out what positive contact means.
Mhm.
And then defining that better with each other.
stored, and then we'll keep
I
talking.
just don't see how it plays out practically.
Well, that's your choice, the carrier.
I mean, to Paul's point, you've heard some staff say, I don't want to carry, but I want it securely stored. Because they're different, their minds are in different places if they're talking to kids or want to hug a thing.
This is the hard part where I would judge and say, you're not responsible because you don't carry your purse a certain way.
There it is.
Or you're not responsible because I don't think you lock up your classroom. And this is where we don't get to dictate that in that manner. Because if I said that, right, I would say that about my wife, but my wife literally keeps her purse attached to her hip. Which and I'm not saying she does, I'm saying hypothetically. And when she puts her hand in her purse, she thinks she's pulling out her wallet, but her right hand's on her gun because she's always paying attention in that manner. Some people train, they think that way. And I can't tell you time and time again where I've engaged with students and they've asked, what's the best way for me to carry? And I use ladies for an example because ladies are always the ones that struggle. Form-fitting clothing, right? Smaller frames. But they want to use a firearm that they also can handle. And the problem is the smaller the gun, the heavier the recoil. The lighter the gun, the heavier the recoil. And any lady I know doesn't want to carry heavy things. And so there's always that control over that where you say, well, you got to carry this gun that way. And as an instructor, I can't tell you time and time again where it's not up for me to say that. It's up for you as a carrier to make a mental preparation of what type of gun you're going to carry and where you're going to. Making sure you always have positive contact, you have the training being able to use it, and you have full control. And if not, you prosecute the folks on the wall. And that's the scary part where I feel like a consistency of us going, well, this is what's fair, and that's what's fair, and this is what's fair.
This is all a really, really stressful topic, is what this is.
And this is a good debate though, because this is what
It
I can
is.
debate both sides. I can be like, yeah, absolutely, I want nothing but full control. But where do we start encouraging people to be responsible?
Right.
Where do we say
Well,
it's a responsibility?
Exactly. And I guess that's the whole point, is that
Liability falls on us no matter what. We already heard that financially, no matter what.
Yeah,
Whether
if-
you
if-
or don't,
sued
they're
for
shooting
where,
for it.
yeah, if
Getting sued
whatever
for
happens,
whatever
if a
happens,
gun
so.
goes off and no matter what matter, we're all getting sued.
Well,
So,
somebody is, and we're going to get
somebody
named
is,
in
and
the
we'll
case.
get named in it. But
Josh, you have
the district.
I don't, yeah.
It's just hard for us to say.
I like
"Let's
starting
carry this
with
gun."
positive control and securely stored and then bring it back.
Well, and that's
See
just
what
it.
else-
And that's
see what
why
other
we're
thoughts came up.
emphasizing annual training, is because that mental
Totally.
awareness of constantly thinking, it changes your whole life. If you start concealed carry, it
It's a
changes
lifestyle.
your, it is, it's
It's
a
how you
completely,
think,
totally different lifestyle. And honestly, for people that are teachers that carry outside of school right now, it probably feels awkward to them not to be carrying in school, because they are carrying, if they carry already outside of school everywhere they go,
So I think
that's already happening.
and I think so my glass tends to be half full, but you have people that are responsible enough that want to take the course, do the right thing, right? So the annual training and whatnot, they're probably not going to shy away from spending some time
No,
being
they're not.
familiar with
They're
their
going to be
firearms. And
interested
so they're
in it.
going to have a firearm selected that they like. I'm very specific about what I have. I like it, and that's what I would want to carry.
And there'll be
But it doesn't mean that I'm not, I'm not open to trying anything with my pod. I actually like the 45 over the 40 or whatever it is. And then there are different sides of hand.
Well, people change things.
And it changes, right?
And it's-
But that's where I think with that annual training, they're trying something else like, hey, I actually really like the Measure 38 or, whatever fits. And so that continuing, ongoing, they're going to find
Yeah,
something
and
that
they'll
they
have a
like,
preference on how they like to.
how they like to carry it.
Yep.
I think
And
that
they'll
was
be,
some of us as wanting to, no matter what, offer more training. For those that carry, don't carry, no matter what. That's something we want to do as a board, no matter
Yeah.
what. Obviously, prevention is key here, right? All requiring the training, right, is guaranteeing someone's going through some sort of mental revamp on things that are pertinent to the protection or saving the life of your own or making decisions that are responsible, right? So I think, like what Teresa says, I think we should put that in there.
we'll
We should
keep
touch on
thinking
those
about it
things.
for
Yeah.
sure.
So when it comes to the positive contact, let me help you define that, is that okay? I just want to make sure you're comfortable with that. Okay.
For attachments, letter of interest, I think the bullet below that is supposed to be part of the letter of interest. Seems like that's the same thing.
Okay.
And then a copy of, and a copy of,
Yeah,
and your
sure.
signed ECCW application.
I actually read that second bullet as a resume.
Oh, do you?
Right.
Okay.
Letter of interest.
Okay, so
resume.
I'm gonna put resume with that, okay? Because
Well, I'm not.
We're on the bullet attachment, there's section two attachments.
Right or wrong.
Well,
no, but I
just
see
read
it in
Please
the-
explain your background and experience in using guns. So it's a,
Okay, so
gun-
letter-
a firearms
Part
resume,
of a resume?
not
Isn't a
your
letter of
work.
interest
Do you
and a
want their
resume
work
both?
resume?
those are the two
No,
different.
but I
I'm
think,
saying that's usually turned in with a resume.
Correct.
Usually turn a letter of
Correct.
interest and then
With your
and your
resume.
background and your.
so
resume.
what does it make sense? So this resume could be, as part of an
The
application
experience they
process,
have.
it's like, hey, I was actually post-certified in, whatever year. I served as a security officer for
Yeah.
whatever company.
I've been an
I did
instructor, I'm
this
a
and this.
retired military.
And maybe through that, it's like, hey, well, now maybe you're a resource that district we call on to
Exactly.
provide training.
Right.
I-
Maybe we should define that better than.
Yeah, I was gonna put
bullet
resume
points.
in front of
Just put resume with letter of interest in there.
Yep.
I think that's right. I think what you're saying is correct. But,
Definitely need resume then. Okay.
If someone was reading this and they go, how do I get my CCW? What hoops should you go through? And I'm like, okay.
I didn't pick out
Please
resume.
explain
in
your
there.
background and experience. Isn't that my letter of interest? And I put that together, or just put resume, letter and with interest.
Can I borrow somebody's PowerPoint for a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm
Here.
gonna lose Dawn here.
Are you fully
You
charged?
got it?
I'm fully charged.
I'm fully charged.
So the only other thing I would say that I would like to add in here is in the legal references, I know we referenced all of these, but it's so important that we reference the ECCW units since we've said this so many times.
Yeah.
So that's.
Oh, you need the
Oh,
cord?
you actually need the.
Yeah, every time in there, it needs changed over.
3302K. And there's a definition in between the next two pages. That's all required. And it's really matching your patrons' concerns. Is there gonna be a background check? Is there gonna be mental? Is there gonna be state? Is there gonna be law enforcement? All those things.
And the title is the EC.
It's called the enhanced CCW. The enhanced.
Is that the E ECCW application you're talking about?
No, just the
Under-
references. We have everything referenced
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah. All the-
Concealed weapons, but really we're talking about an ECCW. So
True.
the ECCW is the specific section K, is its issuance of enhanced
Okay,
license to carry concealed weapons.
that's K. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, we have much more to add there. On the references, on the references. Okay,
First read.
Yes,
thank you.
yes, I think that was a very good
Okay.
first read. You think so? Yeah.
All right, we're on Idaho School Board Association. What's coming up? First off, I think we have up here what's coming up, ISBA Day on the Hill. That's where we get to go to the, basically entrance of the legislation session.
Yep.
Over
So over the things we just voted on,
President's Day.
wanting to be heard on. Yeah,
Yeah.
super important. So I don't know, some of those were super important. I know some of you guys, I believe, really, that was, some of those things were essential that will affect us. So that's February 17th, 18th, April 28th and 29th. Idaho Education Law Seminar, which I'm not too familiar with, but I'm interested in law. But,
Oh, yeah,
that's coming
right.
up.
You're not interested in
Well,
that at all.
yeah, right,
Not
right,
at all.
right.
That's something,
That's
it's
coming up
not
as
a
well.
personal interest to you.
Sandy, you didn't have that? Anything else from that?
Beth, you are a no in February?
No, I'm a yes.
No,
It
I'm a
was
yes.
the law seminar. My sheep are currently doing things right now, so I'll tell you about their breeding.
Oh, the sheep are doing
In
things.
a little while, let
They're
you know
doing
if I'm
sheep things.
available to the law seminar or not.
No, like, but maybe that's bunnies.
All right.
Nature is taking
Yeah.
its course.
Now,
Biology.
Yes.
Teresa, you want to
biology.
take it over for the first reading on 3 different policies here?
Yep. If you want to pull the 4260 up, I'll pull that one up on the screen
Okay.
so you
You're
can
going
see
to-
the edit so far.
What?
Like that.
Like what?
I was just gonna see.
4260, that's
Were you gonna go over
805.
this policies thing?
It's
Autos.
Does it look
the,
the
yeah,
same?
it's this 80506 is the one we currently have. So
Oh,
this is a, yeah,
click on your little.
records available.
That's what I
program.
meant.
Oh,
I don't know if it looks the same. though.
Mondays.
Where are
Does
we?
this
Oh,
look,
right
does that thing look the same as
No,
what
that-
it does when you go into the policies
now. It
revisions?
should. Where are we? Which one?
4260. No, I thought I'd seen this
In track changes.
before we had this on our first read. I thought I was seeing this.
I thought we did too.
This one was listed on the agenda for the one meeting.
You just click on the paperclip.
Oh, that's
There's
why I
3 we
researched.
didn't
I
get to.
reread this then. Okay.
Yeah,
I was
but
like,
you
I read this
probably
one
read
before.
it. Yeah.
So is this one of our policies or is this another one that came down
It's
from
one of ours, and
ISBA?
so this is the
No,
revision
it's
of it.
ours.
Because it's never been adopted.
doesn't say at the bottom.
80506 has been adopted.
Where's the?
10/14/1991.
Oh, that's not on our-
Reviewed in 2008, reviewed again
you
in
pull that up?
2012.
Yeah, it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't
It's
say it on the
not-
bottom.
It's not on.
Because they
our-
changed it to 4260. That's why it
It's
doesn't
on
say
it.
when it's going to be
Oh,
reviewed.
oh, because the
It
number.
used to be 805. It just changed to 4260. The previous, if you go to the
If you go to the
if you
805,
go to the
our current
805
one,
on Assembly without going into your board meeting, it
records
shows when it
available
was,
to the
when it was
public.
reviewed. And you can compare and
amended in
contrast there.
2012, reviewed in 2020, amended in 2020, reviewed now, or 2023. And now it's taking on the new codification.
Can you just find that?
You want a minute to
just the
find it?
Just, no, I said the 4260 is the new codification, is what you're saying?
Yes, that's the
Okay.
new number.
80506, right?
Yes, 80506. Pull that up if people want.
80506.
Will this be referenced on when the previous
Yep.
reviews were for
This
on
will
this
all
under
be
805?
referenced.
Okay. This is first read, correct?
It's first read.
Okay.
There it is.
What is-
Public history, policy history, legal references, cross references.
They'll all be carried over to the new number, same policy. So then, if I go paragraph by paragraph, the first paragraph, second paragraph, third paragraph, fourth paragraph, all the way down to definitions is the exact same. Just have St. Mary's School District 41. It's exact same as our current policy, 80506. If you go to definitions, public record, a writing, that's exact same in our current policy. If you go to records exempt from disclosure in accordance with Idaho law, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, exact same as our current policy.
Wait, why is number two highlighted?
Yeah.
I was wondering the same
Cannot
thing.
exceed actual.
Where?
All of number two is highlighted.
Oh,
All
yeah,
the personnel
there is.
information
I pulled
related
it from
to-
our 805 because it wasn't in the new version, so I pulled it over from our current.
Okay.
And why are performance evaluations not public record?
To do the privacy of an individual. Executive session.
But they work for the state. So it should be public record,
Still,
right?
is
If
there-
they're a state employee.
I wouldn't understand the
The
specifics to
board
it.
would see it and the employer would see it.
So,
Shouldn't people be able to see the performance of the kids or the teachers that are teaching their children?
You mean on disciplinary actions, you're saying?
Just the
No, just
performance
the
evaluation, not disciplinary. Maybe disciplinary too.
According to IC 74101, no, that's a disclosure. So if we had an employee that wasn't performing, they wouldn't be with us.
That's our job.
That's why we evaluate them every year and then we bring it forward to you.
yeah,
So
because then in
That's
the
for
event of, say,
representative
a
government.
some sort of lawsuit,
We're
then it
them.
would be under subpoena to be provided, but not available for public information because of the personal information associated with it. We have this with the state too. We have to redact any sort of information and the evaluations aren't public unless you're terminated and then there's a lawsuit involved and then there's subpoena.
That's why they elect us.
Does that protect the privacy
we're
rights? Is that
elected.
what that's doing?
A lot of it.
I mean, I understand what Paul's saying, and I think
They're
I agree with
trusting
you.
us.
The fact that we're
I
wanting
get
to
that
know
it'd be
what's going
concept.
on.
To make
Yeah,
sure
but
that
don't you-
somebody at the local
Obviously,
bar
there's gonna be a
gets the-
federal reason.
They do know. They're out. They're not. They're not. That's our
yeah, I get what you're
responsibility.
saying, to make sure we have people performing.
But that's why we're elected.
You're representing the people so that you'll know how our people, including me, are performing in an action plan. If performance
That's our
is
job.
improved.
To kick out low
Yeah,
performing.
so like the performance development I have to do for my folks, they all have to go through HR.
Yeah, the retirement plan information?
Person.
Yeah, so if somebody wasn't, the governing board wouldn't know. Good question.
All right.
All the way down to 12 are the same, the last two paragraphs, however, all personal records, and the last paragraph right above response. So people asking for this can ask for a fee. First
I
read,
gotta keep us moving.
almost everything's identical.
We good? All right.
Huh?
Well,
Next one.
No pressure.
trying, brother.
Are there wagers out
I've
there?
learned so many different,
We're almost there.
Are there
Almost
maybe
there,
there's
we're
wages
almost
out there?
yeah, so many are open till 11.
Which one are we on now?
We're on
4130.
41.
Exactly the same as our current one, except with a new codification number, and all the policy we review, we would carry over into this one.
Here's our plus different. So we're doing that same thing with the other one.
Correct, all of
Okay.
them.
Okay.
And when you start to go to Simply, or some of it in from our current policy, which is 40119, teen, drug and alcohol free.
Drug-free school zone, right? Was that the one we were talking about? Was that the previous one?
There's
we were
another
talking
one, there's a 5320.
about? Okay.
So yeah, the green is
Free jerseys.
me pulling content over from our current policy 401.
So do we need to rename it? Because it's